And we are live. How's everybody doing tonight? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and you're watching and or listening to ABL Live. Thank y'all for joining me tonight. We got a whole lot going on all over the internets, all over mainstream media, social media, everywhere, and I don't know where to start. First of all, Chicago had over 100 shootings over the Independence Day weekend and at least 19 deceased. The mayor blames Richard Nixon. The lack of respect for Lyndon Baines Johnson, the same LBJ that said, I'll have those N-words voting Democrat for 200 years. We'll talk about that a little bit more a little bit later. Also, Joe Biden, we know something's wrong with the guy, obviously. I mean, anybody with a pair of eyes in their brain can see and tell what's happening. But do we know that he has Parkinson's disease? Maybe the Parkinson's expert who visited the White House 8 times has the answer. We'll talk about that a little bit more a little bit later. Also, Boeing has pleaded guilty to a felony as it relates to the 2018 and 2019 crashes overseas. I believe it was in Ethiopia and also was it Indonesia, Malaysia, that particular area of the world. What was that? Flight MH17. They got to pay some money and then hire some bureaucrat, but will that do anything to help anybody? I don't know. I can't tell. Also, we have the Federales Front in Nashville marching as a so-called white-identitarian group. We'll talk about all those things and more on tonight's episode of ABL Live. And thank y'all again for being here. You guys are the best audience anywhere on these interwebs. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. We got a whole lot going on. Shout out to y'all for joining. Oh, man, we got so much happening. So much. What else did I fail to mention? Barcelona. That's crazy with the tourists shooting water pistols at the tourists are just, eating their food at the restaurants, drinking tea, chai, whatever they call it in Spain. And then here comes these protesters in Barcelona shooting water pistols at them because they don't like the tourists. But the refugees, the migrants are welcome. Why would you rather have the migrants than the tourists? I don't really understand because I've seen quite a few instances of violent crime, violence, just outright vagrancy, no productivity. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm ignorant. We'll talk about that a little bit more a little bit later. But shout out to y'all for being here. If you enjoyed the content, if you enjoy what you were hearing thus far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Also, please support the podcast on the audio streaming platforms, whether they be Google Play, Spotify, Apple, iTunes, etc. Link for that will be in the description, or just visit your favorite audio streaming platform and search ABL Live. I should pop right on up. And we got a lot to get into, but y'all know how I do. First things first, shout out to the sponsors. You guys, of course, for watching. If you're right here, right now, watching, or watching on the restream, or listening on the audio podcast, you are the first sponsor, so thank you. But also shout out to patriotpost.us, your best source of news and information anywhere on these interwebs. Their link will be in the description, or just go to patriotpost.us and the browser, tell them that ABL sent you. Also, go to my go to my merch website, ablmerch.com. That is ablmerch.com. We got the hats, t-shirts, stickers, hoodies, mugs, and more right there on the website, ablmerch.com. Also, go to my regular website, anthonyblogan.com. That is ANTHONY, the letter B, LOGAN.com. Go to the front page of the website. You'll be able to see articles for each video that I produce. And in each article, you'll have sources from the left, from the right, independent, politically agnostic, local, national, international, whatever you want. I got it right there on the website, anthonyblogan.com. Again, that is ANTHONY, the letter B, LOGAN.com. Go to the contact page of the website, anthonyblogan.com/contact us. There you can find my email address, which is contact@anthonyblogan.com. You can find my snail mail address, which is my UPS box. You'll be able to find my social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, never going to call it X. All those links are right there on the contact page. And if you're ever wondering if you're conversing with me or not on these interwebs, first of all, let's use a few context clues, shall we? If someone says, hey, send me some money this way, send that money on the gift card, and I promise I'll give you a return. My uncle, he's going to go to the village and he's going to flip your monies. If you ever hear that kind of voice happening and the person says that they're ABL, just maybe that's not me. Maybe I don't have an African accent normally. Okay, my voice is very distinct and I don't sound like this, Nor do I sound like a Russian boxer. That might be Lithuania. I don't know what kind of accent that was. But I don't sound like that. Don't nobody got time for these borscht eating, fufu eating people robbing you, stealing your money. I don't care what color the scammer is. Don't nobody got time for this scammer. You could be in the USA scamming, Nigeria, Russia, Canada. It doesn't matter, man. You could be in Timbuktu. Please, please, please don't get scammed. Keep all your money in your pocket. The way Biden's economy is going with the crazy inflation, with all these taxes they're trying to impose on us in different states, we don't have time for the monies to be taken away voluntarily. Scamming is a multi-billion-dollar industry. Don't be part of the statistic. All right, but we got a whole lot going on. And by the way, for the record, I've never in my life had a bowl of borscht. If one of y'all can make it and it's good, FedEx me some borscht, nice and shrink wrap. I don't want nothing that's going to be smelling crazy in my UPS store, okay? I don't want to go to the UPS store and they're mad at me because I got a package in the back that's stinking to high heaven. It's like, look, Anthony, what you got back here, man? You got a body part in here? Like, what's going on? You about to call the police on you. So, or how about this? Give me a good restaurant recommendation somewhere, Atlanta, Nashville, Knoxville, somewhere, I'll go. All right, because I love to have some borscht. I've had Nigerian food now. Nigerian food, top of the tops. My Nigerian friend made something for me, and it was amazing. Oh, my goodness. I'm talking about, you get some of that food right there, it'll change your existence. But anyway, I digress. No, not poo-poo, fufu. Fufu is a kind of food that they got in Nigeria. So shout out to the fufu. But anyway, we got a whole lot going on, and shout out to you guys again for being here. You guys are the best audience anywhere on these interwebs. Give me a second. It's like really hot in here. I don't know what happened. I think my AC cat turned off. 1 second. I'm not getting swatted or nothing. I'm good. Everything's fine. Give me a second. All right, we back. We back in business. Hey, I'm about to bust in the flames. I was about to spontaneously combust. I was about to be the human torch. Okay, you're about to see me. This red shirt was going to be bust. Just it'll transform from a red shirt to red flames. Okay, it's crazy in here. What's the temperature like where you are? It gets hot down here where I am. It's been like 95 consistently for days, and it's very humid. It could be 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night. It's still 85 degrees and humid. It's hot. But I enjoy the warm weather rather than the cold y'all get in the Northeast or in like Minnesota with the or Chicago with the lake effect. Ain't nobody got no time for that. I ain't got no time for the snow. I ain't got no time for cold. Anything below 40 degrees, count me out. A ski slope, I will never go to no ski slope. For what? So I can freeze to death? That's not very fun. A tropical island, going paddleboard or something like that. Now we talking. But I ain't trying to go to Martha's Vineyard and go paddleboarding because I ain't trying to get deleted, but that's a different story. Anyway, shout out to the Obamas. I don't like the cold. I'll much rather embrace the heat. You want to go to Alaska, Flea? Well, look, Alaska is not only cold, but you're going to throw off your circadian rhythm because of the endless sun or endless darkness. I'm good on that. It'd be 12 o'clock at night and the sun is still shining. How is it midnight with the sun out? It doesn't make any sense. Yeah, I can't do anything about that. Jay Blaze says 95 here in Philly. That's crazy. Jane says 117 degrees in Vegas. I don't understand how y'all do it. Y'all Vegas, Phoenix people. I don't get it. I could go to Phoenix, Vegas, that area of the country in the cool months, like in the wintertime. November, that time in Phoenix is beautiful. 80 degrees in the daytime. Go to a little rooftop situation and bask in the sun. But when it's summertime and it's like 2:00 in the afternoon, you're going to die out there. You're going to die. You can't even be homeless. You can't even, like, I guess that's like maybe one of the good things. I didn't see that many homeless in a hot place like Phoenix because you can't just be on the street really with no kind of shelter, I would suppose. You can't even really just roam around outside. It's too hot. But see, Scott H, it is a dry heat, yes, but I prefer humidity because the dry heat to me, it hurts my face, hurts my body. It's like you're being rotisseried. You're like in the oven. You go to Publix and you got the rotisserie chickens out there. That's how I feel in the dry heat. Give me a little bit of moisture. Don't just have me out there. And then when you drink water, it's scary. I'm drinking water. It made me feel different. I didn't like that. So yeah, I'm gonna stay over here. I'm a tropical guy. I'm a tropical guy. I don't deal with the cold too much. But anyway, American Misfit says, I love Vegas. I used to live and work bike security there. You learn how to live with the heat. Hey man, if you guys can do it, if you like it, as a cool kid say, if you like it, I love it. All right, that's your thing. Now, shout out to Poland. Speaking about different places, traveling and whatnot. I wonder what the temperature is out there in the European northern country. Here we have people trying to block the road. These eco-terrorists that call themselves Just Stop Oil. I'm not sure if this is them or some kind of off-branch subsidiary copycat group, but they're blocking the road, I presume, for the same reason, to make everybody hate them in this area to promote their agenda of climate change, as if human beings can, I guess, change the weather. And if we can change the weather, then what's the point in them being out there doing this? Anyway, check this out. And if you can't see it, my man has what appears to be a fire extinguisher and he's spraying it on him. Then somebody else spit on the dude right in his face. That wasn't very nice. My man right here is on a bike, a motorcycle trying to get through. They're holding these paper signs that look like street signs, like street markers, and somebody's coming up to them and throwing them. Again, they're in Poland.
Nie reaguje. Tam jest pani policjantka. To są wzywane osoby.
No to gacie niech zdejmie, dupa mu się nie przykleiła. Kurwa, pasożyty pierdolone.
Man, look, I don't understand. Like, I don't get, if it's me, man, look, I'm pedal to the metal. Ain't nobody got no time for that. You have people that have emergencies, people trying to get to their destinations. They got kids in school. They got sick relatives. They got to go to work, make money, feed their family. Don't nobody got no time for all this extra stuff right here. Okay, get out the road. You're not going to help your cause at all by inconveniencing common people in a working place like Poland. It ain't really, what are you doing? You really want to tackle climate change, go to the factories in China and India that contribute to all the carbon emission in the atmosphere. I'm not even saying I'm not saying climate change is a real thing. But if you're really about that action and you really want to make a difference, then go to the source of where your complaint is. You're talking about carbon emission, pollution, things like this. Go to where it's actually happening. Go to these 8 rivers or whatever in Asia that have the majority of the world's waterway pollution. But anyway, I digress. Now, this was a good scene, although it's pretty graphic, but I'll try to be not as graphic as the story is. Okay, just hang in there. So a man in a wheelchair is was arrested for killing a 31-year-old New York City homeless activist by the name of Yasmin Williams. Now, they said he had her body in the bag and put it out there just on the street. So the residents did not like that too much. And this is what the residents were doing to him when the NYPD came to get him.
Anger boiled over in Kips Bay when police took a man into custody around the corner from where the body of 31-year-old Yasmin Williams was found stuffed into garbage bags. Down the block, police sought out a man sources tell Fox 5 is a person of interest in the murder. In a wheelchair when he was brought down to the lobby, he was being transferred into a gurney while still in the lobby as a crowd outside started screaming and banging on the windows. Once the door opened, family members and friends of Yasmin Williams unleashed their fury as police officers and EMTs desperately tried to fend them off. Several people punched the man in the head, angrily jumping over him and leaping over anyone in the way to get at him.
Hey, man, really, you know what? Listen, if they got undeniable proof that he did this, I say just let them have it for a minute. Really, at that point, if they got undeniable proof, like DNA, camera, everything, just let them get a few licks in and then take them to jail. I'm not saying let them just delete them, but let them just, vent their frustration for a moment and then head on. Maybe I'm saying the wrong thing. Maybe they should have had a little bit more security. I don't know how you prevent this from happening. But hey, the family and friends are out there and they don't like this guy too much. Well, and here's something else. This mob of people could have just went and got him from wherever he was at in the apartment if they found him and then deleted him right there. That happens quite a bit. We're talking about inner city violence. A lot of times you got retaliation, things like that happening, and those numbers sometimes go uncounted. But yeah, I don't blame them for having that anger when you got somebody that just takes somebody's life for no reason, Yeah. Big Show says he was dragging the body down the road. That's crazy. That's totally crazy. Yep. Somebody says it reminds them of the scene from American Gangster. You know what it also reminds me of? Somebody says, why did he kill her? I don't know. I don't know all the details to the story. But it also reminds me of The Bronx Tale. If you've seen that movie, where those bike guys, the bike gang came to the bar in the Italian neighborhood and started acting crazy. And then one of the guys gets up. I don't know if he locks the door or something, but the whole hood, the whole neighborhood, all the Italians came out and were whooping the biker gang. Okay, whooping them. And that's kind of what it reminded me of. Rather than just waiting for the police to get there, we'll take care of this right now. I'm not saying that's the right thing to do, but that does happen quite a bit. All right. Now, speaking about things that are not quite right to do, this is a church service in the community with nobody there, and I want you guys to listen for the message. All right? Exactly. Somebody said it right there, Observer. Now you just can't leave. I'm asking you to leave. Now you just can't leave. They whooped him. All right. Shout out to The Bronx Tale. That was definitely a really good movie. R.I.P. to did Chaz Palminteri die? I don't think Chaz Palminteri's dead. Yeah, not Chaz Palminteri's still living. Who passed away from that? I think it was the boy that played Cologino. I can't remember. Anyway, I'm getting way off topic. Let's get into this right here.
Oh, we're running. How many of you know that even on today, that Donald Trump, hallelujah, he got 34 counts, and he's a felon. How many of you know that, hallelujah, that a felon really can't even supposed to be running for a president? Is that right? He really is considered a 3-time
I mean, I just don't understand. I don't get it. Like, what are we doing? Was there a bag of money dropped off in this church to do that? Because ain't nobody in there. The only people in the church are the ones that are performing the song. So I don't really understand what's happening here. This is a church. Yes, it is. All right. Talking about Trump and the felonies. And you know what was crazy? I was talking about the migration crisis. I'm not quite sure if I said it last stream, but I'm going to say it again now. The migration crisis. I mean, these people from all over the world, it ain't just Mexicans. It's everybody. It's the whole world. From every corner of this world, you have migrants coming in. And in a place like New York, which she mentioned, 70% are African. But the African migrants aren't really getting along with the African Americans. Not really. Okay. Matter of fact, hold on. Here is what's happening. Like, just take a look at this video from the streets of New York City. Shout out to the Africans. Shout out to everybody. But my point is, when you're bringing in these migrants without really vetting them, they could be uneducated. They could be criminals. They could be anybody. You don't know who you're getting. They could be diseased. They could be whatever, mentally ill. When you bring in the men, there's going to be an immediate culture clash instantly. There's going to be a culture clash. They're coming in, living the same way they lived in their countries of origin. And the people that live in the place now don't live the same way. So there's going to be a clash. And they put that upon the low income communities, the black community, and then the Hispanic community. They come in there, mess up the chemistry, or they add to any kind of strife that existed. Now we got conflicts among cultural lines. You know, it's easy to identify race lines, but it's more difficult to identify cultural lines. You'll see black folks in one place fighting each other, not even really seeing that there's a big cultural difference between people that look the same. So here we go. Here's what's happening out there in New York City. So these guys, I guess, trying to sell some shoes, trying to sell random mismatched shoes, or maybe they're just putting one of the shoes out there and they got the other shoe somewhere else. I don't know what's happening. So they just kind of camped out on the street. Okay, both sides of the sidewalk. On one sidewalk, they got the edge by the street, and then also right up against the building with what appears to be luggage, airport luggage. Stolen shoes, that's crazy. Now I'm gonna read some of this right here. It says, ongoing conflict between Black African and Hispanic migrants. A conflict between Black African migrants and Hispanic migrants is escalating. Oh, then I forgot about the Hispanics. They got their own things they want to do. Africans got their own things they want to do. The local Black and Hispanics got their own things they want to do. Got their own little cultures. It's going to be a clash. In conversations with Black African migrants, they expressed that Hispanic migrants are receiving better treatment than them. They find it unfair that they are not permitted to work while Hispanic migrants can. And they also feel that Hispanic migrants receive better conditions in shelters. In most shelters, these two groups tend to stay among their own. Several violent incidents have already occurred between these groups, including stabbings, gang fights, and even murders. Did you hear about that on the news? No, you didn't. Of course not, right? Because we can't push that narrative that these migrants are deleting each other and American citizens. Black African migrants frequently tell me they just want to work and contribute to society. Some aspire to become police officers or join the military, but they aren't unable to work legally. When asked why they think they're being treated differently, they attribute it to their skin color. I also spoke with NYPD officers about their encounters with Black migrants. They reported few serious issues, noting that while some Black migrants have been caught selling counterfeit products, as we saw in the video, they have generally been respectful to the police. Okay, so that's what's happening. Shout out to them. Hopefully they get up out of here, the same as every other migrant group. If you want to come here, do it the right way. Come legally, okay? Because especially in a place like New York City that has their own problems, okay, we got some leadership issues. We got some problems. We got drug use running rampant. We got violent crimes running rampant. people that just shoot, delete you for no reason. The subway system is basically a homeless shelter on wheels, underground, sometimes mobile underground homeless shelter. They're gonna be on the car, pretty much living there. You're trying to get home from your job. Here comes my man, Mr. Homeless, with his feet up, all in your face, like he's in his living room. He's looking at you like, why are you in my house right now? You're just trying to get on the train car. He's trying to get some shut-eye. It's going to be a problem. Now, this is the rapper Cardi B in New York City for some reason. I think she might be back in her hood in the Bronx, I suppose. And see, this is why you got to leave. You want to be a big-time celebrity. You want to make some money. You want to be successful. Okay, that's great. That's fantastic. I love their ambition. That's what we should be doing. We should all want to elevate and be better than we were the previous day. That's what the whole purpose is, to keep on elevating and growing. Not to be overly ambitious, but to be successful. That's the American dream. But what you can't do is kind of backtrack and be in this kind of environment. Check it out. So it sounded like some gunshots. Now, of course, we had Independence Day weekend. It could have been fireworks, but I think that might have been gunshots. Have you ever been like in a neighborhood somewhere? I've been in some hood areas on the 4th. And, you know, when I was a kid, especially hanging out in certain areas, kind of like hood or hood adjacent, like right in the middle or just right over the line. Anyway, you're going to hear fireworks. But you know when there's actual gunshots. You know, it's more sequential and just one bang. It's not like this cartoony whizzing sound. It's an actual bang sound. You know the difference between fireworks and the gunshot if you are right up on it. And then you can see her face right there in the bottom left-hand corner. Listen, if it's me and I'm her, even me right now, I'm not going to be in these areas I was in when I was like 15, 16 years old. We're not going to do that anymore. Okay, we're going to elevate. We're going to be up in the gated community, not community. We're going to be in the gated community away from you heathens who want to shoot on the 4th of July and an urban environment where the bullet can go up and just hit somebody right in the head. Your bullet, you shooting a gun in the Bronx up in the air. Where will the bullet land? Irresponsible. You want to shoot your gun up in the air, do it out in the wilderness where ain't nobody going to be in front of you, and ain't nobody going to get hurt. But anyway, let's go to Chicago right quick. All right. Now, where's the caption on this? It says, Chicago migrant seen last night with a gold chain and a blunt, a weed. He got some weed and he got a gold chain, having the time of his life, making gun gestures. Almost 2 billion with it being Chicago. And 50,000 migrants later, this is what we see. All right, check it out. And the caption on the actual video itself reads, they don't give an F. They still on the street with the paper.
They get that check, no credits, no love, no love.
No bueno, no bueno, no bueno.
No bueno. Oh. Period. They gave them that motherfucking check. They went about motherfucking chain, ho. Don't play.
Estamos aquí directamente de Chicago, Illinois.
It's on Chicago. We the best, ain't we? Chicago the best.
Chicago, estamos ready, 24/7.
For real, no get it.
Directamente de Chicago, Illinois.
So look, there's so much going on here. You got the black girl filming it. I can hear her. And then you got the Hispanic guy making gun noises, throwing signs, all kind of stuff. This guy might be a straight up gang member. This would be the guy that will come delete you in a year if his gang says so. Okay, go and do something to her. All right, it's going to be done. I was reading this article from 2013, and it said a Mexican mafia member, La M, Mexican mafia gang leader, was trying to ethnically cleanse black folks from Los Angeles. You could be a random black person. If you look like me, like you're undeniably black, and you're just in the neighborhood minding your business, they would come up to you and assault you, beat you down, and it'd be a constant thing to drive you out of the community. So you think that can't happen again with the migrant crisis? All they're going to do is reach out to the imported gang members who come from the third world, who are already going to be a lot harder than Americans. They're going to put them right where they are and set them on the mission. And we're going to be totally blindsided. Totally blindsided. But again, this is why I say get out of the community. Get out, because these guys, they're here. It's already over. They're here. The gangs, the drugs, the guns, is here. So then when you see people talking about, oh, we don't need our Second Amendment rights, we don't need guns, it's easy to say when you live in some quaint little village in upstate New York somewhere, you living in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, if that's still a stronghold of, the 1950s American dream. But you're talking about major cities or other places in the country, it can happen. And really, even in some of those quaint little villages, it can happen. Sometimes you see these stories on Nightline of a quaint village that gets rocked by a murder. Hey, man, listen, I got the thing on me. I got it on me. So don't play don't try to do nothing funny. Don't act crazy in front of me, because I got it. Allegedly. If they weren't at the bottom of the Tennessee River, I'd have them on me. Let's put it that way for the feds who are watching. Anyway, speaking about Tennessee River, this bank has a truck in the front. I just wanted to show it. They got a truck in the front with a waterfall.
You're in Alabama when the bank's got a fountain come out of the truck bed.
Yeah, that right there is unique. You got a few rocks in the front, and then you get the truck. What does that say? I can't see what it says. Some kind of bank. The bank's logo is wrapped on the truck, and then they made a fountain out of the truck bed. That right there, that's ingenious. Okay, that is what I'm talking about. If I'm in a place and I see that, I know I'm good. I know I'm not really going to fear. I'm going to have all my gun rights. I'm not going to have no crazy, ridiculous nonsense happen to me all the time. I'm not worried about no Los Angeles crackheads blowing smoke in my face. It's going to be good. If I see a truck with the fountain out of it in front of a bank on some rocks, I know I'm in good company. Shout out to Alabama. Shout out to, is it fake? No, that's 100% real. That is all the way real. You can see the water.
You're in Alabama when the bank's got a fountain come out of the truck bed.
I've seen that before, not in front of a bank, but I saw like some kind of waterfall that had just an antique truck as part of the actual waterfall feature. I've seen that before. Yeah. Right on. So shout out to Alabama and places like that where I'm going to be all good. Okay. Now we got to get to Biden a little bit, because the media and a few more, they're having the meltdown. They're having the big crazy meltdown. It's a mess. We got a few things from Biden and other people. All right. Hold on. Let me just position this properly. And here we go. This is Jasmine Crockett.
I also was disturbed and felt as if the president had been overprepared and they had been running them ragged. And sometimes you have to tell your team, no, stop. I could tell that the president was constantly reaching for answers. He knows the answers to all these questions. So I was pretty shocked by both sides. More so the moderation as well as the president. I expected him to do better.
Should President Biden debate again?
I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't want the same debate prep team.
So, all right, Jasmine Crockett, the debate prep, running ragged, all these excuses. All I hear is excuses for this man. You need to stop. You need to actually stop. Anybody can see this man. You're looking at him on stage. He looks like a corpse. I don't wish anything bad on Joe Biden to the feds that are listening. But I was asking the question on Twitter. What happens if he croaks before the election? Because that could happen. I mean, let's be clear. We know what's going on here. I think you guys are a smart, very intelligent bunch, smarter than I am. You guys keep me on my toes all the time. I think we all know what the plan here is, to just run him until he can't run no more. It's like you got a farm animal you pushing beyond its limits to the point where it just collapses one day right in the field from overwork, from exhaustion. Now, Biden shouldn't be exhausted. If he was just not as old as he is and not in bad health, then the things that he's doing right now would not be so exhausting. But obviously, he's not in good health. What kind of illness, disease, disorder, that's not for me to diagnose. But we can make assumptions and guesses and have opinions on what's happening with the man. Whatever it is, it doesn't look right. When you have Jasmine Crockett and whatnot come out and they try to make excuses, it's ridiculous. It's like, let's be honest about what's happening here. They're trying to run this man until he can't run no more. And if he dies, they want to put Kamala Harris in his place. And then people are saying that it's racist to try and skip past Kamala and intercept Biden actually dying by replacing him in the primary with a Gavin Newsom. But it's already too late. The DNC is coming up when? When is the DNC? And the DNC is going to be in Wisconsin, by the way. So the DNC is next month. We're talking about 5 weeks from now. They don't have any more time. We are in the 0 hour. Okay, you got July, August, September, October. That's it. And we're already almost halfway through July. So you're talking about 3.5 months before the election. There's no more time. So you got these people out here like that trying to run defense for Biden, but it's not working. He's going to just wind up losing. Okay. Now, I may have played this before, but I don't think I did. Now, this is a speech from the National Education Association, the NEA. Now, they are upset about some things, I guess, from Project 2025, which, by the way, is not Trump's plan at all. That comes from the Heritage Foundation. They are an independent body away from Trump, away from the administration, and they are also not a governmental agency. They are they might be a 501c. Let me see what they are. Heritage Foundation, and they are what? 50. Oh, let me see if I can find it. Heritage Foundation, and they came about in 1973. 501c4. Okay, 501c4. Yeah. So that's what they do. That's their whole thing. And I think if you're a C4, you're able to talk about certain candidates and like very specific political things. I think the C3 cannot do that. But if I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. Anyway, the point is that the Project 2025 is a thing that's been around for about a year or more that the media are now trying to make you afraid of. When you ask someone who's afraid of Project 2025, what is their concern, they'll ask you to explain it to them because they don't know. They just know that they are being told to fear it. It's the same thing with the mask hysteria. People were really adamant about wearing a mask, but if you ask them why, and you get down into the details about why wearing the mask is foolish, they're going to automatically try to fight you because in their brain, they've been told, well, I got to wear the mask. You know, I got to drink Brondo. It has electrolytes. I mean, why would I drink water? That's the same kind of thing. Anyway, check this out.
NEA delegates, we can do this work. We must do this work. We get to do this work. We will do this work because our students are depending on us to win all the things. NEA, we have to win all the things, all the things, all the things. Our colleagues are depending on us to win all the things. Keep going, NEA. To preserve our democracy, we must win all the things. Delegates, we won't go back. We will keep going forward because we are the NEA. We are the NEA. We are the NEA. And that's what we do.
All righty. Okay, so if you guys are in a National Education Association and that was your keynote speaker, that was a keynote, by the way. Yes, it was a keynote. Becky Pringle, that was a keynote. So if you at the NEA and that's your keynote speaker, you're like kind of questioning yourself, like, why am I here? Why did I pay this money? Why am I part of this organization? What's going on? What is happening? Becky says, how many things? Listen, all the things. We got to win all the things. What does that mean? I don't know. That was a word full of, that was a bowl full of word salad, and I'm not any kind of way satiated. I'm still hungry. Okay, MSG, all in that bowl of word salad. But anyway, if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Somebody says, Fro Loco plus crack equals her. Yeah, that's definitely really, really hyper. So here is the surrogate nominee, Gavin Newsom. I mean, I think we all know by now that Gavin is going to be the guy. If not this time, the next time he'll be the guy. They're already priming him for it. All right, he's already meeting with world leaders, Xi Jinping and the rest of them. So that's going to be the guy going forward. This is also Nancy Pelosi's nephew, if you didn't know. All right, check him out.
The world we inherited just 4 years ago. 14.8% unemployment under Donald Trump, 2.9 million jobs lost under the Trump administration, 154,000 manufacturing jobs lost under the Trump administration. The trade deficit went up 40.5% under the Trump administration.
Now, I got to pause right quick. One thing I'm going to say about the Democrats is that they spend a lot of money to reach young people because this is a TikTok inspired clip. You get the vertical orientation of the video, music in the background is very distracting and annoying, but that's what they like on TikTok. So this is catered to them. And it's a bunch of lies in it as well, talking about the things that went wrong under Trump, but they're talking about COVID era stuff, which impacted the whole world. I say it's unfair to judge anybody based on what was happening during COVID. You can judge what they did as far as the response, but as far as the things that happened afterward, you got to put it in context. Just say this, it was COVID that happened, and the thing that really was a problem was the response to COVID, not the effects that came as a result, if that makes any sense. The effects are negative, but the response is what caused it. They don't want to talk about the response because they endorse the response, the overzealous, heavy-handed shutdowns and lockdowns, all at the same time not really following what they were doing. Mr. French Laundry, I'm going to exclude my restaurant. I'm going to exclude my resorts from the COVID lockdown. I'm going to exclude my restaurants from the minimum wage hike. I'm going to exclude my best friend I went to high school with. I'm going to exclude him and Panera Bread from the minimum wage hike. But different story out there. I'm getting triggered, so I digress.
The debt went up, the deficits went up every single year. Leaders around the globe were laughing behind his back. That was this country 4 years ago, and look what the Biden-Harris administration has done to turn that around. With Democrats, things get better.
So when COVID happens, jobs are lost, and after COVID is over, the jobs come back. But and Gavin Newsom was the tip of the spear when it came to the lockdown, or at least one of the main guys pushing the lockdown for an extended period of time. So when his state lost jobs and brought them back, now he says, hey, I'm taking credit for it. It's just like Joe Biden. You have inflation rising 100%, and then one particular item like green avocados go down by 13%, and he says, hey, well, look, I won. You see, things are cheaper under me. It's like, man, please stop. Please stop. That's like when you have these companies that raise the prices of their goods before a big sale and then mark the goods down back to the original price. It's like, well, you didn't do anything. It's just marketing at the end of the day. But I guess that's what being a political is, just marketing. All right. So here we go. Brandon Johnson blaming the problems of Chicago and everything else except for the people in Chicago, except for the lack of support for the police department and things of this nature. Okay. Did somebody say, who is he? I'm not quite sure, but that was the former governor of California, or is he the governor now? I think he might be the governor now. Yeah, he's a governor now. That's right. I think he got reelected, but he's the governor of California. All right. And he will probably be running for president one day pretty soon. They're already gearing him up for it. Nancy Pelosi's nephew is already kind of done. Now look. And I think they may try to run Alex Soros as well. Alex Soros just got married to Uma Abedin. Did you hear about that? Let me just put it up right quick so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Then we're going to get to the super mayor of Chicago, Mr. Panic Attack himself, Brandon Johnson. But hold on, here we go. This is, so Uma Abedin. Remember Uma Abedin? This was the girlfriend, wife, whatever of Anthony Weiner, who was ridiculous. So Uma Abedin gets engaged to George Soros' son, Alex, during romantic Italian break. This happened today, or at least this story was put out today. Now, here's something about Uma Abedin if we forgot. Because I was following her and that story for a while. Uma Abedin, this was what Hillary Clinton's close friend, assistant, whatever. She was with Anthony Weiner. Now, Hillary sent Uma Abedin a lot of emails about some really, I guess, secret things. And, hold on, married or engaged? Were they married? Anthony Weiner? Somebody say Anthony what? So anyway, they're together. Hillary Clinton is sending her emails, and she's opening the emails on this laptop. Now, Alex is using the laptop and doing pretty much whatever. Any kind of just, inappropriate adult thing you could do on a laptop, he was doing. We got pictures and videos of himself, all kind of stuff. Now, while he's going to these seedy websites, it's the same computer that has Hillary Clinton's emails on it. So anybody can just hack the computer through the weak link of Anthony Weiner. You see what I'm saying? That whole thing, that whole story was a mess. That guy was a national security risk, but so was Uma Abedin for being with the guy, and so was Hillary Clinton for having emails sent that way. Bleach bid in the personal server. Oh, I didn't know how I had. Listen, if you go through the trouble of installing an email server in your house, you know full well what you're doing. That's not what normies do. Have you ever in your life seen an email server in someone's house? And if you did see it, this was not an idiot. This is not a moron. This is somebody that's very purposeful and intentional about having the email server. You don't just do that for no reason. You do that for a very specific reason. A person like Hillary Clinton, who's been around the federales for a long time, been in government for a long time, going all the way back to Little Rock when they were deleting people out there, allegedly. You know exactly what you're doing. So I'm not buying this trying to feign ignorance thing. Oh, I didn't know any better. Please stop. But anyway, shout out to Bleach Bit. Shout out to the private email server in her basement that she didn't really know about. Let's go to Mr. Panic Attack, Brandon Johnson. Now, please, I'm not trying to attack people with panic attacks, but if you're having mental issues, or if you're like 1,000 years old, as Joe Biden is, maybe public office ain't for you. You should go do something else. Okay, be a yoga instructor. It's totally fine. We need yoga instructors, and we also need competent leaders. If you're not a competent leader, go do something else. All right, but let's check this out.
Now look, white supremacy is real, y'all.
Say that.
I'm gonna say that one more time.
Say that.
Because in case the city of Chicago don't know, you got a black mayor with a black wife, black children on the west side of Chicago. And all of these other administrations that shut down our schools, that shut down public housing, that raided the pensions, that sold off the parking meter, that sold off the Skyway. Those people ran this city to the ground, and now they expect a brother to fix it in a year. Well, guess what? We're off to a great start, and I look forward to fixing they mess, building up our communities for the next 23 freaking years. God bless you, Chicago. Southside. Now look.
Now, there was a lot there. Okay, if you want to fix the community, if you want to fix their mess, maybe you shouldn't get rid of ShotSpotter. Your city council is saying, hey, let's not get rid of ShotSpotter. Let's keep that. You, Mr. Brandon Johnson, want to eliminate ShotSpotter after the Democratic National Convention in Chicago. Why would you want to get rid of it afterward? Why not just cancel the contract back earlier in the year when it was over? Why try to re-sign it and have it stop abruptly after the DNC? It doesn't make any sense. either you need it or you don't. And if you guys don't know what ShotSpotter is, basically they have these kind of like light poles with cameras, but I'm not sure if it's a camera or not. It's like sensors. And these sensors can detect gunshots. So if the community doesn't want to call the police, or they just can't, whatever it is, or they don't, the police may be dispatched to the area to go get the gunshot victim, if there are any. They can use the technology to try and reduce crime. But Mr. Brandon Johnson says that's racist to have such things spying on the community. But at the same time, you want to defund police. You don't want to support the police. So you don't want to have technology that can help police in their activity to respond to actual victims of crime so they don't die right there on the street. You want to get rid of that, and you're not really supporting the police, just doing the regular everyday thing. He might be the kind of guy that says the community is over police. But what he fails to realize is the police are the last bastion of hope in a lot of these areas. Without the police, you would have pure carnage, pure chaos. How is it racist to do things that's going to help protect your citizenry? It doesn't make any sense. But when you're just so focused on race, everything is racist. Now, here's a big leap. Over the weekend, Independence Day weekend, they had over 109 shootings with 19 deceased. And I think in that number, there was an officer who got shot. I don't know if he died. But quite a few people over the July 4th weekend, just in Chicago alone. Now, let's see what he blames on all this stuff going on.
So we cut off the pipeline of boys between the ages of 10 and 19 being either victims or the perpetrators. So
I hate that thing. I might have said it before in the preview stream, but I hate that whole thing about the pipeline, school to prison pipeline. The problem is not with the school at all. The problem is with the kids that are in the class and their parents. If the parents don't care, the kids don't care, then the teacher can't do anything about it. You could be in the class next to somebody and you will be totally fine. The person next to you won't be. The key difference is what you are going through at your house.
yeah, it is personal. Black death has been unfortunately accepted in this country for a very long time. We had a chance 60 years ago to get at the root causes, and people mocked President Johnson. And we ended up with Richard Nixon.
Nixon, LBJ, what are we talking about exactly? What are we saying? Sir, you have a problem with gang violence in your city, in certain neighborhoods, and it kind of fans out to other places. But yeah, you got a problem with gang violence. Little 15-year-old black kids deleting each other. That's what you got a problem with in your city. Why are we talking about Richard Nixon and people like this? What's that got to do with it? What's that got to do with gang violence? And a lot of times the gang violence is not even about money. They say, oh, you know, these poor areas, what's that got to do with it? Poverty is a symptom, not a cause. That's what it is. Poverty is a symptom, not a cause. When people don't want to be productive, when they don't value education, they're going to be poor as a result. That's just what it is. And it's crazy because you living in a city like Chicago, there's all kind of resources. Look, when I was a kid, I used to be in West Virginia in the summertime and come back to Virginia during the school year. And I would see the level of I would see how many resources were in Virginia, Norfolk, that area, for me to be educated and, you know, be successful versus back in West Virginia. It's night and day. Night and day. It's like coming from a third world country. You know, so when you would have kids acting up and they got rich parents, you know, the thing that always would kill me when I was a kid was seeing somebody that got two parents, a loving family, living in the same house their whole life, grow up and do nothing with themselves. I used to hate it. I see them with disgust. Disgust. You had everything you needed and still didn't do anything with yourself. Anyway, I'm getting triggered. So check it out. Nikki Haley was not invited to the RNC, which is coming up, I think this weekend. Is it next week or hold on? Let me see. When's the RNC? The RNC that's going to be starting on Sunday, July 14th to Thursday, July 18th. Okay. And the convention takes place Monday through Thursday. So I guess they're going to have events that start on Sunday, but it'll officially start on Monday. Next Monday, which is going to be the 15th. Now, let's hear what Trump says as the reason why she probably wasn't invited. And by the way, a little bit of context. I think Trump's daughter-in-law, Laura Trump, is the chair or the co-chair of the RNC after Ronna McDaniel got dismissed. And by the way, can I say it one more time? Ronna McDaniel sucked really, really bad. And I don't want to hear anybody talking about nepotism because Ronna McDaniel was Mitt Romney's niece. I don't want to hear it. Laura Trump, that's Trump's daughter-in-law. Ronna McDaniel was Mitt Romney's niece. The problem with the RNC, they don't really do anything. They just take money for no reason. And people are now starting to realize that the RNC sucks. And now they have less money than they did before. Why give to them? They don't do anything. All right. So let's hear from Trump right quick, shall we?
Just looking at Nikki Haley yesterday, she said, I recommend
RP to the headphone user. Sorry for the loud noise.
All my delegates go to President Trump. And they said, are you going to the Republican convention? And she says, I have not been invited. From your understanding, have you not invited her? And would you want to invite her? Is that an oversight or intentional?
Well, I'll take a look at that. I mean, I have heard that this morning, so I'll take a look at that.
So you would like to see her go?
I don't know. I'm going to take a look at it. I want to see. I know she gave her delegates over. There was a lot of bad blood there. She stayed too long. She was being soundly defeated at every place, but she just wouldn't leave. And so we had to continue onward for 2 extra months, which was ridiculous. And she was doing badly. She was losing badly. But, her mistake was she continued on. She just, keep going. I had that the first time, too. I had a gentleman from Ohio continued on. He just wouldn't, just kept going. He wasn't getting anything. He wasn't doing anything. He wasn't getting any votes, but he continued on. There's a time to which you leave. Ron DeSantis left right after Iowa. She should have left right after Iowa. She came in third. She didn't come in second. Ron came in second. But he left after Iowa because he said there was no way he could win.
So you're still a little angry that she stayed in so long.
She came in third. There was no way. So I just say this. I wish she didn't stay so long.
Right. But do you think she helps you with moderates, that she had a group of people that maybe are hard for you to get?
No, they're not going to vote for Biden. Biden is a low IQ president.
So there we have it from Trump himself. Now, he's saying he's got to look into it. But I think maybe people realize that he probably wouldn't want her there. She did stay too long. It was no reason to keep doing it. And what that did was it made Trump have to keep going out there and campaigning and spending money. It made him, it was kind of like a proxy war against Trump. It's kind of like this whole Ukraine-Russia thing. We're giving Ukraine money so they can continue to fight this losing battle against Russia. And the purpose is to drain Russia's resources. And I feel like it was the same thing going Nikki Haley. Nikki Haley took all this money from all these rhino-type groups, maybe even some liberal groups to keep running against Trump. So he's got to keep spending his money and become even more cash-strapped than he was before amid all the court action and everything else he's dealing with. But what kind of put him back in the front financially was the conviction in New York. Because now it's just really obvious what's happening to him is lawfare. So we're going to kick up a bunch of more money. It's going to be a fundraising bonanza as a result of that. But still, that doesn't account for the fact that Nikki Haley stayed too long and made him spend more money. He probably spent $30-40 million more than he needed to. Maybe I'm just giving an inaccurate assessment, but I think that's what's going on. Now, remember this woman right here? Remember her? This woman right here who spilled the beans about Joe Biden and the debate preparation. Well, pardon me, the interview preparation. This woman interviewed Joe Biden on the Black Philadelphia radio station Word, WRD. After this interview, I'm talking about immediately after, this interview, from what I saw, was posted to CNN's YouTube page on Saturday, July 6th. Sunday, July 7th, she was fired, or they said that they mutually parted ways. Now, the reason why she got fired, in my humble opinion, is because she spilled the beans about the White House sending her questions in advance before the interview. Check it out.
You each you asked 4 questions, and maybe that's what you were allowed to ask by the campaign or the White House. But they were essentially the same questions, both interviews, about accomplishments, progress in your respective state, what's at stake in the election, what he has to say about his debate performance, and what he would say to voters who think their vote doesn't matter or might sit this election out. Were those questions given to you by the White House, or or the campaign, or did you have to submit questions ahead of this interview?
The questions were sent to me for approval. I approved of them.
Okay, so the White House sent the questions to you ahead of the interview?
Yes.
Okay.
I got several questions, 8 of them, and the 4 that were chosen were the ones that I approved.
Okay. And the reason I ask is not a criticism of either view. It's just that if the White House is trying now to prove the vigor, acuity of the president, I don't know how they do that by sending questions first before the interview so that the president knows what's coming. You each.
Okay, so there's a couple things I want to say here. I'm going to say something crazy a little bit. I'm going to say something a little bit crazy. Nothing against the young lady. Shout out to her. She doesn't deserve to get fired. She did her job. She was an honest person. She said what happened. Look, they sent me questions. I approved them, and then we had the interview. Okay, so people are saying that she shouldn't have said it. So you want her to lie? You asked a question, and she answered it honestly. So what's the better thing to do, to lie? Of course, the left would rather her be dishonest and lie to you than tell the truth, because that's how they do. They will lie to you over anything. They don't really care. To protect their person, they'll lie to you in a heartbeat, instantly, with a straight face, like an actor. Now, that's one thing. She gets fired for that. They say, oh, well, we're not a mouth. The station said we're not a mouthpiece for the Biden administration, whatever. Then the station threw her under the bus talking about, well, she did that on her own. We didn't know about the questions. That's BS. There was another man. This video right here is cropped. In the original video, there's a guy to the anchor's right, but on the left-hand side of the screen. And he was out there in Wisconsin, and he had the same deal with the Biden administration. Okay, we're going to send you questions, and you approve for, and then that'll be the interview. So I guess the process is they'll contact you from the Biden administration. They'll send you questions, tell you to pick 4 of them. You pick 4, send it back. Okay, cool, we approve it. Biden he'll be prepped. Okay, they're going to ask you this, and that. You're going to respond this way. That's what's happening with this president. Vim and vigor, all of that, he don't have no time for that. He can't really recall things from his deep memory or anything like that. He has to be prepped right away about what to say. Anything beyond that, he's going to short wire. He's going to pop a fuse, which is why during the debate, they're asking him all these questions, and sometimes he gets kind of caught up. The only time he did right as far as things that he was programmed to do was after every time Trump said something, he said Trump's a liar. You could tell that was a coaching thing. But beyond that, it don't matter how much coaching you get. What are you going to do? Hold on. What are you going to do to stop this? How do you stop the mouth? How do you stop that from happening? What are you going to do? Hey, Biden, remember, close your mouth when you're not speaking. Don't be out there. Don't look sick and crazy. Don't look 1,000 years old. Don't look like you have Parkinson's disease. How are you going to tell him to do that? How can you tell him to do that? That's like saying, hey, ABL, don't look dark skinned. What am I going to do? I mean, I have no instant Michael Jackson kick over here. I can't just sprinkle some dust on my head and not be who I am. But they did not account for that part. Or maybe they did, and it's like, look, man, we got a big old pig right here. It don't matter how much makeup we put on the pig. It's still going to be a pig. The least we can do is make it a little bit more pretty. But at the end of the day, it's going to be sausage, hamburgers, and everything else. But or pork burgers, whatever you want to call it. Now, back to what I wanted to say that was crazy. For a while, CNN, from what I heard, had a ban on heterosexual, masculine black males to appear on air. Now, this guy kind of might be a little bit masculine, but he might be gay too. I'm gonna look into this dude right here. I ain't trying to call him LGBT, but he might be on the spectrum a little bit, you know. And whenever I watch CNN, I look for that because I've heard that throughout the years, and for a while it's kind of rang true. They had Don Lemon for a long time. He was their main guy. They gave him a show they gave him an 8 o'clock show and everything, prime time, right? 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, whenever that was. They gave him his own show in the evening. Then when he became a little bit too masculine, a little bit too, you know, thinking like a man, they put him in the they demoted him and gave him the 2 female hosts to make him be softer. Anyway, CNN sucks. Everybody knows it. So at least shout out to them for acknowledging the truth on their platform. Okay. Yeah. Brian Stelter. Brian Stelter is one procedure away from Bruce Jenner. Okay. Whenever I see Brian Stelter, I think about these guys right here. Hold on. I was talking about it on Twitter today, talking about these guys that become their wives. Brian Stelter reminds me of these guys right here. Hold on. Let me put it on the screen. And Chris Cuomo, of course, was there because of his brother, who was the governor of New York at the time, Andrew. So these guys right here, hold on. My question was, what's up with these dudes who become their wives in late life? Now, you see the before and after. The before on the left, obviously the right is the after. Now, you can see the couple here, okay? You got a dude like a regular car mechanic, okay, or a bayou fisherman with the Louisiana shirt on, chilling, minding his business. And then in the next picture, he has, quote unquote, become transgender, looking almost identical to his wife. And remember this guy right here, his wife had died, I think. And then he became her, the same wig, the same look, everything. Okay, you can see the guy with the bald head, and then that's him right there on the right. And remember this guy right here out there in Phoenix City, Alabama, right about Columbus, Georgia. This guy was exposed to be on social media sites dressing like this. And he was a pastor, of course. He's always a pastor. Not all you guys is pastor. You guys have fantastic pastors out there. But if you were to tell me, okay, listen, I'm not trying to attack Christianity. Shout out to all the good churches out there and all the good pastors. You guys do great work. However, there are many among your ranks that do stuff like this. If you were to tell me one day that TD Jakes decided to put on a dress and a wig, I'd be like, yep, that fits. I would not be surprised at all. I would not be surprised. I'd be like, but it's a pattern. So whenever I see Stelter, I think about him right there. That's what I think about. Or this guy right here. It's the same thing. Don't be surprised if Brian Stelter comes out as a transgender later in life. Don't be surprised. I mean, I'm not saying that I think he's LGBT or whatever. I'm just saying it's a pattern I see, and you can kind of tell where somebody is going. We saw it in Bruce Jenner back during the Kardashian days. I would not watch that show, but I'd see clips, and I remember during this process of him changing, it was funny. You had celebrities like Marlon Wayans saying, "Just, hey man, let's get the breast implants, man. Go ahead and do it. Just do it. We see what's happening with you. Just go ahead and just make it all the way official." And then his wife at the time, Chris, was like, that ponytail getting longer and longer. Anyway, here's Whoopi Goldberg talking about she'd vote for Biden even if he cannot control his bowels.
I'm just going to add my 2 cents because I wasn't here on the day that y'all talked about it. I don't care if he's pooped his pants. I don't care if he can't put a sentence together. Show me he can't do the job, and then I'll say, okay, maybe it's time to go. Now, he had a bad night the first time that he went out and debated with Kamala Harris. And everybody wanted him to quit that and say, you can't talk to women like this, or you're doing this wrong, you're doing that wrong. He came back, said, you know what, I got it. and gave 4 years.
Pause for the copyright or whatever.
So yeah, I have poopy days all the time.
Oh, okay. What in the world are we talking about? Whoopi Goldberg. Listen. All right, I understand we're in a new age where we share information with each other. Hold on, I gotta pause for a second. I know we're in a new age. We're all about sharing information, letting everybody know everything that's going on. But some things I actually don't want to know about you. Some things you should keep to yourself. That little factoid, Whoopi Goldberg, I could have done without. You could have made your point about voting for the guy no matter what. But I'm talking about, yeah, I do on myself as well. I didn't want to know all that. I did not want to know all that. But now we got to continue since we're invested. Since we're invested, now we got to continue, okay?
I step in so much poo you can't even imagine. Now, I'm not running the world, but I don't know anybody who doesn't step in stuff at some point. So I'm just simply saying, yeah, there are 2 debates. And if he can't do what he needs to do for the second debate, I'll join any crew that says get rid of him. But loyalty to me, if you are doing the job, I might not like everything you're doing. I don't like it all. But I'm going to stand behind you like those guys stand behind the guy who should have been the person people were talking about saying, yeah, Biden had a bad day, but this guy couldn't tell the truth if it split his lip.
So maybe they got the same memo about the whole he's a liar thing because they're all saying the same thing. He lies. About what? Oh, you're a racist. Oh, okay, my bad for asking questions. I'm sorry. My bad for being curious.
But nobody said that, but Anna said that, I believe, or something. She's not quite as colorful as I am. But the question now
Give me a chance.
The question now is, because lots of Democrats are coming out saying, find somebody else. But when we tried to do that with DT, this is my new way of just describing him.
Trump, you mean? Just say his name. Why is it so hard to say his name?
We said, listen, he shouldn't be on the ballot. Everybody said, no. The people chose him.
That's totally different things. You're conflating different issues. So you're conflating the issue of Biden being replaced with a separate person because he's obviously not able to do the job. You're conflating that with trying to remove Trump from the ballot when he was chosen. Now, if you could say, okay, let's replace Trump, then let us decide. But why would you want to do that? For what reason? With Biden, obviously, he's not really able to go forward. So it should be upon y'all to remove him. But it's crazy. They don't care. Like if he kicks the butt, if he croaks before the election, they don't care. Now, speaking about elderly people that are kind of at the end, we got Maxine Waters. We got 2 from Maxine Waters, actually. All right. First, we got a little bit of a wig shift, if I can find that one. Yeah, we got the wig shift going on, and then we're going to get into her at some event. I might have played that last time, but I'm going to play it one more. And if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Now, Maxine Waters, 85 years old. Okay, 85 years old. Again, shout out to the elderly. I'm not a person that hates old people. I love everybody. If you're a good person, then that's all that matters. I don't care about nothing else. But maybe at this age, you shouldn't be a world leader. Maybe you shouldn't be running the government. Maybe you shouldn't be in the actual U.S. Congress. Maybe, just maybe, because maybe it's just like driving at a certain age. If you're not really sharp as you used to be, maybe driving's not for you. Even the guy that's my age, you know what I'm not going to do at about to be 40 years old? I'm not going to go out on the basketball court and try to dunk. Listen, if I go out on the basketball court right now at my age and try to do some kind of LeBron James, ridiculous things I can't do, man, look, my ACL, MCL, CDL, all of that is going to be totally obliterated in a matter of seconds. I'm going to be in the hospital with my knee completely debilitated, walking on crutches for a year because what? I want to be a young guy? It doesn't make any sense. Same thing with these politicians. Hey, you're 85 years old and you're having some obvious issues with your brain. Maybe this kind of work is not for you. Just maybe if I'm 40 years old, I shouldn't be out there with these 19-year-old NBA athletes trying to play basketball and hurt myself immediately. Anyway, check it out.
They've seen President Biden. They've lived through his presidency. They've also seen former President Trump. They've lived through his presidency. They've heard these arguments about democracy, about the fate of the election. And yet Trump is not only winning, but winning increasingly by a larger margin. So what is the plan among Democrats to change that trajectory? It sounds like you're talking about saying and doing all the same things, but do you believe that something needs to change?
I think we need to keep working.
They've seen.
So if you couldn't see the clip, throughout the entire 30 seconds, Maxine was adjusting the front bang part of her wig. It's like, you can't do that off air. And I think Abby, the anchor, was talking and kind of just filling space with word salad to let her finish adjusting the wig. But again, if you're 85 years old, you're not really doing things that make 100% sense all the time. If you are not really the way you used to be as far as your mental. Now, you could have some people that age that are perfectly fine, everything's all good, but it's not always the case. All right, so here is Maxine at the Essence Fest.
Now at a point in time where people are talking about Biden is too old. Hell, I'm older than Biden.
And the crowd goes wild. Some people are lost. If you were in the crowd and you clapped at that, what am I going to do? People always ask me, hey, ABL, how can I reach my friends and family about being conservative? How can I help them? Don't try to argue. That's going to be a waste of time. I said it before, drop little seeds in their mind. You hear them talking about the gas prices, talking about taxes, talking about inflation. Hey, you know what? It was cheaper under the other guy. Everything was better under the other guy. Well, I ain't going to argue. I ain't going to say nothing. I walk away. And whatever they could say at me, they could scream and yell and holler. I'm not going to say nothing back. Because I want them to have that in their mind the next time they're out at the store and they're seeing things that are very expensive. A jug of cranberry juice, $10. Pack of chicken, $10, $15. Going to the gas pump, left coast, $6. Regular, $87. I want my words to ring in your mind whenever you're in that situation. I don't want to argue with you.
You look good, Congresswoman.
And I get up every morning.
All right.
And I exercise.
All right.
And I work late hours.
All right.
I take care of black people.
All right.
Trump has told you who he is. He defined himself. He is a no good, deplorable, lying, despicable human being. And he's talking about if he doesn't win, there's going to be a bloodbath. There's going to be violence. There's going to be a civil war. Who the hell do you think he's coming after? Who's going to be targeted? Who is he talking about? But you know he means business because he is the one that led the invasion on the Capitol January 6th. Now, do we have to talk about the difference between these two? Now, I want to tell you, no matter what anybody says, it ain't going to be no other Democratic candidate. It's going to be Biden, and we better know it.
So that's Mad Max, Maxine Waters. 85 years old, should be 86 next month in August. 86 years old. Now, we've seen a few people croak in office. Didn't Dianne Feinstein? I mean, and she looked ridiculous toward the end. I'm like, man, this is cruel. It was cruel. It wasn't even me just trying to attack the lady. It's like, man, y'all are foul for this. I don't care if she's Democrat, Republican. That'd be foul to have her out there like that. Same thing, Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell, we've seen freeze up on television. That's foul. He should go ahead and step down. To have him out there like that is crazy. This man literally froze up on television. I had to unfreeze him Tell me something. Yeah, I'm all right. Ain't no problem, sir. Come on, man. But yeah, shout out to them, man. Let's get it together. Now, this guy is young. Adam Kinzinger. He's seen as a future Republican candidate to some people, okay? But there's a lot of guys in D.C. that are just like this. These guys, the elitists that think less of you as a person, they think that you don't understand what's going on and they know what's best for you. These guys are so out of touch that you could be a Republican and actually endorse Joe Biden. Well, he's an ex-GOP rep. Is he? What's he doing now? What is he doing now? Let me see. He's from Kankakee, Illinois. Interesting. And he was House rep ending in 2023. I don't know what he's doing right now, aside from just talking to CNN for a living. Yeah, he joined CNN to become a political commentator, of course.
And I just want to emphasize what you just said. You said you haven't changed.
Right.
So in other words, the rising star Adam Kinzinger, seen as future Republican presidential candidate, is the same guy.
Yeah.
Endorsing Joe Biden.
Yeah, because the party no longer knows what it believes anymore.
And I just want
to. Okay, now what does Joe Biden believe that you believe in? You rather would endorse Joe Biden than Donald Trump? It doesn't make any sense if you're a Republican. I mean, just look at even if you don't like Trump personally, you don't like his personality, the 3 Supreme Court justices, that's enough right there. You're talking about a lifelong thing. Lifelong. You're going to sacrifice lifelong appointments, 40, 50 years of Supreme Court decisions because you got an issue with the guy? You're dumb. And that's why you're not in the office anymore, because you're a fool. And I'm glad he's gone. All right, let's keep on rocking and rolling. We got a whole lot going on. Shout out to you guys for being here. Really, really appreciate y'all. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Okay, we got to get to some reactions to Biden here. All right, hold on. People are talking about he should step down, all this, that, and the third.
Alex, I haven't been approached by more constituents just on the street in a couple years about an issue like I have been over the past 10 days.
Now, this guy, House Rep Seth Moulton from Massachusetts, a Democrat.
They're worried. Very concerned. They're very concerned, and they see these numbers, and I don't think it helps that the president has just been dismissive of the polls and said he doesn't believe the polls. I mean, maybe the polls are a little bit off, but we're running against a convicted criminal who incited a mob to storm the Capitol. I mean, this should be easy. Our nominee should be crushing Donald Trump in the polls, and clearly that's not what's happening. In fact, it's going in the opposite direction. I mean, I remember when I got my first poll back in my first run for Congress, I was only 53 points down, Alex. That wasn't where I wanted to be, and I could have debated it. My pollster told me it was statistically impossible to win, but what I said is actually, let's believe this. Let's listen to what the poll says. Let's listen to what voters are saying and change our strategy. That's what I did. I changed the strategy.
So, yeah, people don't like the fact that Biden is still trying to run his shit. They're saying, oh, it should be easy, all this, that, and the third. But the reality is they don't have anybody to actually replace him. Or if they do, but it's too late. They are pretty much reaping what they sowed. You put this guy out there knowing that he couldn't really do anything. And now it's like, all right, he about to pretty much keel over, but it's too late now. You got to just deal with it. This is MS13 DNC, Katie Fang, talking about the whole situation.
Important President Biden's exclusive interview with ABC's George Stephanopoulos was going to be. But I listened to it, I watched it, I read the transcript of it. It seemed to me, and again, this is with all respect to George, but it seemed to me like Stephanopoulos was pushing one issue only, one issue, whether Biden is okay cognitively to be president. I mean, Susan, I don't think that should have been the point of the interview. I'll concede that maybe some questions should have been posed to President Biden, but noting Trump declined to sit for a one-on-one with George Stephanopoulos, why such a focus on that? Why such a focus on that issue?
What do you mean why? Why are you asking? Why ask why when you know? You know what's going on. Everybody has the same question about this guy. They wanted the ABC interview to display whether this guy was cognitively able to become the president. There's not a question about Trump and his cognitive function. Some may not like Trump, and that's fine. You can just not like him, but ain't nobody saying that Trump has something wrong with his brain. Ain't nobody trying to say that Trump is just out of his mind. That's not really the thing that's going on. But that is going on with Biden. Now, this guy is going to talk about Biden, and he has his own issues. I mean, the Democrats, can we get better people? This guy had a whole brain injury, and he's in the federal government. That's what I'm talking about, man. The federal government sucks. How you got a guy that has a brain injury being the House rep? You should be at home healing. Like, literally, like, you should be healing rather than being on television, rather than being in the Congress, wearing a hoodie. And how you going to wear a hoodie to Congress in basketball shorts? How do they let that slide? That's the craziest thing I've seen. Between him and Zelensky dressing however they want to dress, I'm disgusted. But let's hear from Fetterman.
I think what we need to win is we all need to we have to support Joe Biden. And I want to address all the other crazy stuff that was happening even before the debate. We're going to abandon Biden, or we're going to walk away, or I'm going to be uncommitted, or that. Well, congratulations. If you're panicking now after the debate, you were willing to dick around with this before.
To do what now?
For all that, because we're going to need all in on this. And if you think you're going to send a message as a Democrat or voting for someone else or throwing away your vote, well, guess what the message was in 2000? That was tanking Gore. And that's 2 terms of Bush. And if you thought you were going to be clever and send a message in 2016 and piss your vote away for somebody like Stein, well, congratulations. You know, that got us Trump. So if you want to do this in 2024, if you want to play with that kind of a fire, you're going to really you really have to own that.
I mean, obviously he sounds a little bit better, but he's not all the way there. Some of the words that he's saying don't make any sense. He's using the wrong words at some times. Some say, is he in the prison? I don't know where he's at. Some kind of concrete block looking brick. It could be painted brick. I can't tell what's going on. It might probably painted brick. I don't know where he's at, but he's somewhere where something may have happened that's pretty terrible. You might be at the site of a old 1890s race rebellion. What is going on here with this background? I don't know. That might be his comfy place.
Kind of a burn. You know, Democrats and those kinds of people that are concerned by having a second term of Trump all has to agree. He may not have to be our dream candidate, although I think he's been a great president. You know, when you consider what the alternative is, just lean in and deliver a second term for Joe Biden.
So that's Fetterwoman giving his 2 cents about what's happening with Joe. All right. There's a lot here. Oh, this is funny. Karine Jean-Pierre and also John Kirby referred to President Biden's press release. He might have already had it. I'm not quite sure. But they're calling it a big boy press conference. All right, watch this.
After that, the president will hold a press conference. I guess a big boy press conference?
Yes. A big boy press conference. Now, look, listen. If I'm the president, if I'm anything, elected official, whatever, don't call my press conference a big boy conference. I'm not a toddler. I'm a full grown man. Okay, you don't got to say, oh, you putting on your big boy pants. You going out playing with the big boys. You playing basketball with the big boys. I'm a full grown man. Let's not do that. But if you're in the state of mind that Joe Biden is in, these words are appropriate, you see? And that is a scary thing for the president to be in that state of mind.
We're calling it and take some questions from y'all.
This week, President Biden will speak to national labor leaders of AFL-CIO, host the NATO summit to show the unprecedented strength of our alliance, hold a press conference, a big boy press conference, according to Justin Sink from Bloomberg.
Why are they saying that? Why would that be a flex? Hey, our president's having the big boy conference, and you know what he's going to do next? He's going to get potty trained, and he's going to get a toy. Like, what are we doing? This man's 81 years old. What are we talking about? But hey, that's their guy. That's their guy. Is he going to get another serving of applesauce as a reward? What's going to be his reward? This is crazy. And speaking of big boy press conference, he called the Secretary of NATO something that I can't really. He called him something. I don't know what he was trying to say, and I don't want to say, but I think that he actually said, even if he didn't mean to say it. Okay, let's check it out.
So much of the progress we've made in the alliance is thanks to the Secretary. He's a man of integrity and intellectual rigor, a calm temperament in a moment of crisis.
Now, who was this man? This is Secretary of NATO. You're talking to world leaders, people that, control countries, and they're the architects behind wars. You're talking to these guys, and what do you call them? One more time, please.
So much of the progress we've made in the alliance is thanks to the Secretary. He's a man of integrity and intellectual rigor, a calm temperament in a moment of crisis.
What did he say? I don't know. Don't nobody say the word. Don't nobody say the magic word, because Google will be in here and they will moderate against my will. So don't nobody do it. All right. But if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Now, Joe Manchin said that something could be happening with Joe Biden by the weekend. Now, what that thing is, I don't know, but check it out.
But are you personally confident that he has what it takes to not only continue this election, but then to serve for another 4 years?
Well, I think that if you just wait until this weekend, there'll be more comes out. I believe that we'll be able to have a better, clearer view of what's happening. I'm just going to wait. I really am.
So if you didn't hear Joe Manchin, he said, let's just wait till this weekend where more comes out about Biden. Then we'll be able to make a better assertion. We'll be able to have better conversation. So what do you guys think could be some kind of surprise that'll come out over the weekend? One more time, if you missed it.
But are you personally confident that he has what it takes to not only continue this election, but then to serve for another 4 years?
Well, I think that if you just wait until this weekend, there'll be more comes out. I believe that we'll be able to have a better, clearer view of what's happening. I'm just going to wait. I really am.
Senator,
so I don't know. Maybe they're going to release some records. Did you guys see where the Navy sailor, got caught trying to look up Biden's records? Listen, to the sailor that's out there that did that, I understand. And he didn't actually I don't think he got locked up in the brig or whatever. He was punished, but I don't think it was anything that serious. He was disciplined, but I'm not quite sure what that means. The guy was trying to find some records, but didn't actually do it. He just searched in some database for Joe Biden's name on 3 different occasions, or 3 different times, 3 different search queries. It could have been within the same period of time, like a minute or so. But anyway, the Navy sailor tried to access Biden's records. I understand why he would do that. I'm not saying it's okay, because I would never do that. Google moderators, federales, everybody watching. Shout out to the FBI agents. Hopefully you enjoying the show. Matter of fact, FBI agent, if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Shout out to the federales. Anyway, I don't think that. Hold on, I'm getting kind of distracted. As far as the sailor, I don't think that was needed. We all know what's going on with this man in his brain. Everybody knows what's happening with this man in his brain. Okay, now let's keep on going here. We got a whole lot more to get through. We got a whole lot more. This is going to be from John Stewart, who says Biden's incompetence is new information. So I guess John Stewart wants us to believe that we didn't know before today. We didn't know before the debate that Biden had some issues with his brain. And even before all this cognitive function stuff with Joe Biden came up during the 2020 election, even before that, he was a moron. Look at his kids. Dope fiend. I mean, anyway, let me keep on going.
I feel as long as I gave it my all and I did the goodest job as I know I can do.
The goodest job? Did he say that?
I feel as long as I gave it my all and I did the goodest job as I know I can do. That's what this is about.
That's not what this is about! There are no participation trophies in endgame democracy. Oh, yes. I remember FDR saying, well, if the Nazis take over Europe, at least both teams had fun. And it's really troubling as this new information has been introduced. We just learned about this, and now we're all being told, well, you should have thought of that before you knew it.
We can't go against the will of the voters. Democrats who...
Man, look, everybody knew what was going on with Joe Biden. If you were paying attention, if you were just trying to keep your head in the sand and act like it wasn't happening, then yeah, you didn't know. But we all knew. Everybody knew what was going on with that guy.
Voted in all 50 states in the primary. That is who they want to be their nominee.
He's the nominee because millions and millions of people voted for him to be our nominee. And he will be our nominee. End of story.
There was no real primary. Biden ran against Dean Phillips. That's not even a real person. That's a stock photo on the package for a garden hose. It's not a person. It's AI. And let me say this. Authoritarianism and Donald Trump aren't the only threats our democracy faces. An arthritic status quo, unable or unwilling to respond in any way to the concerns of voters who just received new and urgent information about their candidate.
Now, look, I can see how some people in the country would not know about Joe Biden and his physical appearance, his brain function, or whatever. Normies ain't gonna know nothing. That's why you got to put it to someone in a debate. That's why I say the debates are very important to introduce these people to the public, because they're not on it. Like, I'm a political guy. I eat, sleep, and breathe it. Okay, that's what I do. But most people don't do that. So they're relying upon us to give the news to them, and the media as well. You guys knew full well about this man years ago. You didn't say anything. Now you're like, well, they didn't know anything until right now because y'all didn't tell them. It was us that told them. And then when we told them, y'all said, MAGA Republicans, conspiracy theorists, tinfoil hat wearers, racist, sexist, ageist. Y'all said that. And now that what we said is coming true, all of us saying, oh, we didn't know anything. It's new information. Please stop. But guys like, especially Jon Stewart, these are actors. They're not really real people anyway. Okay? They're not real people. Chris Cuomo will tell you to stay inside and he'll be outside living the whole beautiful life. Gavin Newsom, same thing. These are not real people. These are actors. That's all that it is. Actors. All right, hold on. Streamrunner says, I thought Jon Stewart was funny when I was 15, and now I realize that's what he's for. Yeah, exactly. You already know what time it is. He's just a news reporter actor. Many of them are on the big level. Once you get to your CNNs and things of this nature, many of them are actors. Your more local stations are better. Unless you got a big market, sometimes it can get kind of tricky. New York, Los Angeles, but you live in a small town USA, typically you're going to have more honest reporting on your local stations and newspapers. But that can also get kind of weird with corruption. But different story, I digress. Let's keep on going here. This was funny. Listen, so George Clooney wrote an op-ed. Yes, George Clooney, the actor, about Biden, talking about he should drop down. Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can find that right quick. All right. It's funny. So it's on New York Times, and as I Googled it, I read something from Slate. Slate says, unfortunately, the George Clooney op-ed was really good. But here's the actual thing. Hold on 1 second. All right, so this is from George Clooney. He says, I love Joe Biden, but we need a new nominee. Okay, this was published today, July 10th, 2024. All right, so we got a whole op-ed right here. All right, it's been read quite a bit. I ain't going to read the whole thing. I'll read the first part. I'm a lifelong Democrat. I make no apologies for that. I'm proud of what my party represents and what it stands for. As part of my participation in the democratic process and in support of my chosen candidate, I've led some of the biggest fundraisers in my party's history. Barack Obama in 2012, Hillary Clinton 2016, Joe Biden in 2020. Last month, I co-hosted the single largest fundraiser supporting any Democratic candidate ever for President Biden's re-election. I say all of this to only express how much I believe in this process and how profound I think this moment is. I love Joe Biden as a senator, as a vice president, and as president. I consider him a friend. I believe in him, believe in his character, believe in his morals. In the last 4 years, he's won many of the battles he's faced. But the one battle he cannot win is a fight against time. None of us can. It's devastating to say, but the Joe Biden I was with three weeks ago at the fundraiser was not the Joe big effing deal Biden of 2010. He wasn't even the Joe of 2020. He was the same man we witnessed at the debate. So he's trying to say, yo, you got to step down. That's from George Clooney. Now, the Biden campaign, for some reason, reacted to this. I don't know why they would do that, but they did. Now, this is their reaction.
In response.
All right, hold on. This is Kayla Tosh, senior White House correspondent from CNN. This is her reporting what the Biden team said.
In response to those comments from George Clooney, Jake, a campaign official who attended that Los Angeles fundraiser tells me that George Clooney left 3 hours before the president. So clearly the gloves are off. Jake.
But what does that mean that George Clooney left 3 hours? What's the point? Hey,
Jake Tapper is over it. He's done. He's dropped the facade about this guy being the vim and vigor, virile. He's dropped that facade completely. He's totally in critique mode because of what they saw at the debate.
The point of that is to suggest that Biden's stamina is better than Clooney's, and Clooney didn't have, eyes on the entire event. That's the response to the Clooney op-ed.
Okay.
Okay. Giving you the okay. Yeah, come on. So you're going to tell me that Joe Biden has more stamina than George Clooney? Is that what we're going to say for real? Is that really what we're going to say? Come on, man. Like, let's not even do that. Now you throwing your man under the bus because you wrote an honest op-ed about you. That's how it is in D.C., though. That's how it is in D.C. Personally, if I'm the administration, I don't respond to what George Clooney said. How are you going to win that? How are you really going to win that battle? Let's be totally 100% frank here. You're not going to win that battle. So that was just, hey, man, that was just silly on their behalf to even try to say that. All right, we got more going on. Shout out to you guys. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. All right, we got a whole lot going on. All right, where do I want to start? I got so many things. Oh, let's show Biden at the black church.
How sweet the sound that saved a wretch.
Yo, you have Biden in your church, man. You disgust me. You bring Biden to your church, you disgust me. I don't care. You could be a black church, white church, Puerto Rican, or the first candy striped church in the world. I don't care. You disgust me. You ought to be ashamed of yourself right next to this man in your preacher garb.
Like me, oh, I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now
the overseer energy. I see one of y'all make one mistake, I'm getting the whip cracking. Bow.
Let us stand together. Oh, at the cross.
Let us stand.
Where I first saw the light.
You don't want to stand. That might be a full diaper moment.
Burdens of my heart
rolled away. It was there by faith.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know why I don't have no words, man. Really, it's a shame using the church for a background prop like that. Okay, and here's more of him standing up. And RP to the headphone user. Sorry for the loud noise.
America, land that I love, stand beside her.
That singer is tearing me to pieces, though. Good grief. Can we get a new singer? I could sing better than that in the choir.
And guide her
It's giving karaoke. I'm playing. All right, let me stop.
through the night, America.
Yeah, man, this is a mess, man. Like, nah, man, that church. If I was a member of that church, I would never go back. that ain't it, man. That's not where we want to be at all. Not in the least bit. But if you like what you're hearing, you know what to do. Please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Yeah, that singer was terrible. I was like, man, what are we doing? You know you got Biden coming through. Can we, you know what I mean, spice it up a little bit, get a guest speaker, get Kiki Wyatt or somebody to come in there with all her 15 kids and sing up a storm. That'd be a good old time. All right. Somebody said Tina Turner. Tina Turner. That's crazy. That's totally nuts. All right. We have more to get to here. Now, where am I going to get to next? I think I wanted to show this housing situation. Let me show. Yeah, I wanted to show this. And there's also this homeless influencer guy. I think I'm going to show the homeless influencer guy first. And I don't want to show these two videos to excuse one or the other. I'm just saying that these are the kind of things that are going on right now. Now, this person says he's good with no job and being homeless. What you're seeing right now is inside of somebody's tent. Like how you would see in San Francisco, all these, you know, big city areas that have homeless encampments. This is what you're seeing on the inside of.
We not getting a job. It sounds like y'all jealous because we found a way to make it work without a job, and you still got to work a 9 to 5, pushing 40 hours plus a week.
Now, one thing I would say, my man, a dentist is your best friend. A toothbrush is even better than a dentist. So let's invest in some Colgate and some soft bristle toothbrushes and get that cracking, man, because your hygiene, your dental hygiene is lacking. And I'm not trying to be funny. You can really have some serious medical problems without taking care of your teeth.
That's on you. Don't get mad at us because we found a way to circumvent this shit. And
yeah, that's him, the same guy that was in the storage locker, if I'm not mistaken, or wherever he was. Now he's outside.
Get out the system and get out the matrix. We living in a tent, paying no rent, saving up money every single month. More money than the average American could ever think to save. Y'all jealous because me and my girlfriend found a way to circumvent paying rent. So don't get upset with us and tell us that we need to get a job and we lazy, when in reality, this lifestyle is far from lazy.
And if you don't know, he does have a young lady in there, a nice chunky lady of the Caucasian ethnicity, of course. And I don't know how they keeping her fed and keeping himself fed at the same time while having no job. Maybe he's getting benefits from the government, which is a big part of the problem of the homelessness and the poverty, because when you keep people dependent upon the government, they don't really advance, they don't innovate, they don't do anything to push society forward or themselves forward. They become complacent in that state of being taken care of by the government, and all they do every year is just try to get more and more from the federales or their state entities.
This lifestyle is very difficult. Most people couldn't even handle this adversity. So I don't want to hear y'all calling us names and calling us lazy. Y'all jealous because y'all got amenities and we dealing with shit without all that, saving up money, making it work without amenities, without AC, without heat, making it work. Y'all.
I don't know about no AC, man. Like, yeah, I'm cool on that. I'm cool. I like to have shelter, sir, because what happens when you get a tornado or earthquake and you get and you're in these trees? I don't know if you're in the woods. You're gonna have all kind of animals on you. Spiders might come in your tent one night and tear your whole situation up. You wake up unable to breathe, and you're like, what happened? Do you have an EpiPen in your tent, sir? Anyway,
Y'all jealous. We don't need a JOB. We don't need AC. We making it work in a TENT.
There's a little rap for you, you know. What do you say? We don't need AC. We're making it work in the TENT. Bars. Okay, I will sign you for a hotel night for one night. Hey, get yourself cleaned up. Put your young lady in the tub if she fit, and y'all be good to go, man. And go right back to your tent. How about that? Anyway, shout out to him. If you have serious issues, you know, you run through a hard time, that's one thing. I understand. But if you're refusing to get a job, you just want to be outside, hey man, whatever happens is on you. You're just refusing to participate in society. I don't like that. I understand if you're having a hard time, you got laid off, you're working very hard, trying to find a job, that's one thing. But if you refuse to work, and that's becoming more and more common because of all these checks, the government benefits that existed already were one thing, but then when you bring in the stimulus checks from COVID, it was ridiculous. People were getting paid more to sit at home and do nothing. Now, here is the other end of the spectrum, the super high prices of California. And ultimately, what might end up happening is they may make it to where there's only super poor, struggling, working very hard to have any kind of shelter, and super rich, and no middle class, no in between. That's happening right now in a place like California. However, that's no excuse to do nothing and just sit on your hind parts. If anything, if you're in a place where it's not, you know, hospitable towards you, go somewhere else. But when you go somewhere else, don't bring any liberal, halfway soft nonsense with you. We don't want any more Austin, Texases, which is a California exclave. We don't want that anywhere around. I don't want to get up one day and all of a sudden the town next door is Little California. I don't want to see no Bloods or Crips out here. I don't want to see no crack pipe smoking in the middle of the daytime out here. I don't want to see these ridiculous, ugly, modern homes. Okay, I'm getting triggered. Let me show this right here. This is going to be a 3-bedroom, 3-bath house with a pool in Studio City, California. Now, before I show the video, how much do you guys think for rent a 3-bed, 2-bath house costs in Studio City, California? Rent price per month. What do you think the price is going to be? Okay. Now, I'm going to let you guys guess, and then, hold on. Oops. You might have already saw it. But what do you guys think? Hold on. Arizona is a nation, and California is a nation. We actually live in, I mean, the way that the United States should be is that we are like independent nations, but we're not, because the federal government has too much power. That's why I hate the federal government. I agree with you that we should be independent nations, but we're not. We are controlled by the federal government, and we need to have a lot more autonomy. You guys are kind of like close. Some of you guys are very low. All right. Above 3K? Yeah, way above 3K. Polka Dot Suzanne, you got it. All right, I'm going to go ahead and throw it on the screen right here. So, 3-bed, 2-bath house with a pool, $7,995 a month for rent in Studio City, California. No sound on the video, but it's just showing you what's going on. Okay, a very small garage, basketball hoop outside, a little bit of grass. Okay. Hold on, do we have bars on the window? No bars on the window. Okay, that's good. That's always a good sign, because y'all love y'all bars on the window in California. Hold on. Okay, do I see bars? No bars on the window. Oh, very old windows though. Can we get some new windows for that price? Low ceilings, of course. This is an older house. Maybe like a 1950s, 60s era. I can't really tell. Little bay window. Yeah, like a little bit of a flip. I'm seeing this. This has been redone, of course. Got the brand new appliances, et cetera, but not very big, kind of a small house. Yeah, not a lot of closet space, not a lot of backyard space. $8,000 a month to rent that. All right, is that nice to y'all? I mean, hey, it wasn't a bad house, but that house, right? Listen, if that house was out here, it wouldn't be no more than $2,000 a month. Probably like $1,500. Yeah, my first house that I rented was not that much smaller than that. It looked kind of similar, actually. The lower ceilings. I mean, yeah, to pay $8,000, nah. But again, Studio City, California, is all about the location, and that's happening all over the country, where you pretty much everything's getting way too expensive. Now here is a 4-bedroom house that is 3D printed, so they say. Now, we had so many of these realistic graphics, I can't tell if I'm looking at some drone footage, or if it's a rendering.
What you're watching is the building, actually the printing of a 4-bedroom home. On this construction site, there's no hammering or sawing, just a nozzle squirting out concrete, kind of like an oversized soft-serve ice cream dispenser, laying down the walls of a house one layer at a time. It's the brainchild of a 41-year-old Texan who's rarely without his cowboy hat, Jason Ballard.
3D printing a house.
Yes, ma'am.
People are going to hear that and say no.
We're sitting inside one right now.
This house was printed.
Yes, ma'am.
What?
So here's my question. How much does that process cost? And they got a house right next to it with a frame. So, well, that's a roof that's framed. So they 3D print the house, but on top you still got just a regular wood framed structure. That's interesting. I'm not sure how that really works. So it's not all the way 3D printed. You're not printing those. You're not printing that top structure. That's all just straight up lumber that they're going to bring in guys to some scaffolding and put it together. It's probably prefab. All they gotta do is just nail it together, pretty much. But it's not going to be all 3D printed. Just the walls right there below the roof structure. Yeah, saving the planet. They ain't saving no planet, man. All that stuff about saving the planet. We gotta go green. That's all BS. Everybody knows that. You know that for a fact. Now, speaking about structures, how about this right here? Now, you guys want to go to China? You want to go to the Great Wall of China? Huh? Anybody want to go to the Great Wall of China? Have you ever been? Now, if you go, you might be faced with this right here, depending upon which part of the Great Wall you're at. Do you know the Great Wall of China is like 14,000 miles long or some kind of crazy number? Hold on, before I show you, how long is the Great Wall of China? And yeah, 13,171 miles. I was like, what? Yeah, 13,171 miles. Now, of course, it's like different sections and it's not all continuous. It says the wall constructed during the Ming Dynasty, the most well-preserved, is about 5,499 miles long. But altogether, 13,171 miles of wall. And you're gonna see that kind of population on it. You see, we got Day After Tomorrow, World War Z, all that right there. If any kind of, listen, and they got the nerve to have masks on, sir, ma'am, whatever you are, you guys are packed like sardines. What is your mask gonna do? If a bat got consumed right there, what they say, where the COVID came from, a bat, right? That's what they said. If that happens right there, y'all all got it. Y'all are packed like sardines on the Great Wall of China. All right. So shout out to them. Look how far that goes back. Yeah, and that's happening with their wall. It's funny how the Great Wall of China is a tourist spot that everybody wants to see. But when we say we want to build a wall in our border, all of a sudden we're racist. So if you go to the Great Wall of China and you marvel at it, why can't we have our own? It's so silly. It's one of those things. It's very contradictory of people in this good old US of A. But if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. And I got a question before we get to the super chats. I have a question for you guys. If there's a summer camp and these individuals were the instructors or whatever, would you trust your kids? Would you trust them to take care of your kids? All right, check this out.
I work at Camp Brave Trails. Of course I'm in full Frankenfurter drag since 7 a.m.
Hold on. It's kind of low sound.
I work at Camp Brave Trails. Of course I'm in full Frankenfurter drag since 7 a.m.
I work at Camp Brave Trails. Of course I have ducks in my pockets.
I work at Camp Brave Trails. Of course I feel safe to embrace my autism. I work at Camp Brave Trails. Of course I'm decked out in rainbow all the time.
We do the photos and videos at Brave Trails.
Of course I'm filming this in selfie mode.
I work at Camp Brave Trails. Of course I keep Band-Aids in my fanny pack at all times.
I work at Camp Brave Trails. Of course I know how to facilitate a group circle.
Yeah, I'm really sorry.
I work at Camp Brave Trails. Of course I flew 5,500 miles just to come to camp.
I work at Camp Brave Trails. Of course I can be my most authentic self here.
This person has on elf ears, if I'm not mistaken. Like, what am I seeing right there? Are these elf ears?
Authentic self here.
I work at Camp Brave.
And this person works there, but they appear to be very young. Maybe that's like a teenager. I don't know what's going on. That's an adult with elf ears. Yeah. How about no? how about no? All right. So yeah, who will take your kids there? Shh. Listen, you'd be surprised. Every time I see these drag queen story times, it'll be chock full of parents and their kids, little babies, goo goo gaga, and their parents. These morons. Look, there are a lot more people who identify with these individuals than you would think. You'd be surprised. And they have kids and everything. It's a mess. I saw one lady that said she had twin transgender children or something crazy. Or nah, they might not have been twins. It might have just been brothers, sisters, or something like that. How do you have two children, little kids that identify as transgender? Obviously, they're being taught that from the parents. There's no other way that can happen. If your child is speaking Mandarin Chinese, he had to get it from somewhere. He didn't just say, hey, you know what? I'm 3 years old. I'm going to just say ni hao. Where'd he get it from? He's got to learn it from somebody. A child is a blank slate. Whatever you teach them, whatever you impress upon them is what they know. So where did he get it from? The parents, obviously, and or the parents are not doing a good job of shielding them from certain things that they may see when they're not in their presence, which, again, is a failure as a parent. But anyway, let's keep on rocking and rolling here. We got super chats on deck. Then I'm going to get to the calls. The number to call, 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. Thank you to Cowboy 742 for the support, for being an ABL supporter. Thank you to the wealthy broker man who says, for the Nigerian food shout outs. Yeah, shout out to the Nigerian food. Shout out to the fufu. Shout out to y'all fish y'all got with the head still on it. Oh my goodness. I'm having a flashback. That food was so good. My friend, shout out to my friend that cooked the food. You're a good one. A good person. Shout out to Michael Critchlow who says, thoughts on American rounds, Breitbart grocery store selling ammo out of vending machines in Alabama and Oklahoma. Will this flopper pick up steam? Hey man, I love it. I love the I love the grocery store selling ammo because why not? Why not? I don't have a problem with that at all. You go to certain gas stations, depending upon where you are in this country, you could get all of that. Ammo, ice cream, a falafel, whatever you want. You can get it right there. Or if not in the actual grocery store, you get it right next door. Thank you to Apu Bakar Alpuff Daddy who says, if Donald Trump wins the presidency and if Alec Baldwin is found guilty and sentenced, should President Trump pardon Biden? Why or why not? I wouldn't pardon Biden at all. Not at all. He can leave. He can go up the river. That's fine. That's totally fine. Shout out to Apple again who says, Tulsi Gabbard as Trump's VP. Thoughts? I like the idea. I don't like Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi Gabbard is too much of a liberal, in my opinion. Thinking of Michael Guess, who says, amazing how many fools will board the Biden bumper car with Pelosi driving instead of the Trump train, like after that disaster of a debate. Laughing face. I'm right there with you, boss. Absolutely. Think of the Blast Radius, who says Biden was up there on that debate stage looking like Grandpa from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies. LOL. Hilarious. And think of the TJ Jizzle for gifting 5 ABL memberships. I really appreciate you for that one. All right. We got calls to get to. And a number to call, 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. Before we get to the calls, I got one more video for you guys. I just saw this, just came across my timeline. I got to play it right now. Remember those commercials? Hey, you're not doing anything with your life. Get off your butt. Go to college. Make a phone call. What do you have to lose? Remember those commercials from back in the day, those iconic commercials? Well, they found him. Okay? You see, the top, that's the commercial, and the bottom is the guy right now. So they found him and they interviewed him. It's only a minute. We're going to get to this, then we're going to get to the calls.
My boy, but goes by the name of Adam. Adam had been on the set, the Everest College set. It consisted of a producer, director, and a cameraman. And then they hired out a PA, production assistant.
Okay.
Adam had been working it for the whole week.
So he wasn't someone who attended the college.
No.
Did you attend the college at all?
Hell no. I didn't. No. If I had attended an Everest College, I couldn't have got paid for none of the commercials. Remember, we were at a Embassy Suites on Thomas and 24th Street in Phoenix, Arizona. We get back to where they were staying, and we didn't even have correct lighting. So I'm in this parking lot. That dormitory.
You are slowly destroying my childhood. You wasn't even on the campus of Everest.
No,
I had your whole life in my head.
That's
like, oh, you was at the college. That was on the campus. So you said you guys didn't even have proper lighting. So what did you light it with?
They had a car. They turned the car around, put the headlights on.
Headlights as the lights for the commercial. And you weren't even on the set of Everest College. It's crazy. Or you weren't even on the campus. You were on a set with improper lighting.
It might have been the Brights even. Might have even been the Brights. I don't even remember.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So, yeah, a lot of what you see, you see something on TV, you got to understand a lot of the times it ain't really what you think. Hollywood, smoke and mirrors all day long. Yeah. So, of course, an actor. Of course. All right. But anyway, he made a viral short and it was a lie. Exactly. 100% correct. That's why TV sucks and everybody wants to watch alternative media because it's more honest. It's more integrity. Podcasts and everything like that. You're going to get more from them in the podcast form than you would get watching television. All right. We got super chats. I read those. Now it's time for the calls. The number to call 434-658-1220. And if you like what you're hearing so far, y'all please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff that'll help me out tremendously. Yeah, the Jerry Springer days. That's right. Shout out to Jerry Springer. R.I.P. Did he die? I think Jerry Springer died. Yeah, R.I.P. Jerry Springer. And is Maury still living? I think Maury might have died too. No, he's still living. Shout out to him. 85 years old. Still rocking and rolling. All right, but R.I.P. to Jerry Springer. Let me get my sound together right quick, and then we get to answering the phone calls. Y'all hang tight for me, please. All right, that should be it. And there we go. Calling to speaker to 937.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi. My name is Jennifer, and I have a two-part question.
All right.
Okay. I've been watching you for the last couple months now, and I really enjoy your commentary because I think that you're a calm equilibrium. Like, you understand both sides, and I don't know if you were ever a lawyer, but you're throwing that out there for me. So the most dangerous thing in the world, I remember when I used to watch Stephen Colbert, and he used to say, the most dangerous thing about the United States of America is bears. you know, and it used to always make me laugh. And so I used to ponder that. I used to say, okay, like, what do I think is the most dangerous? Because in college, I took political rhetoric, and I had to read all of these cartoons and recreate one to try to convince people. So I know kind of not to buy into that stuff, and I think that you do too. But my question is, what do you think the most dangerous thing right now in the United States of America is? Your number one thing, regardless of whether or not it's politics. And then what would be the first thing that you would do to combat that?
Okay, now this is a really good question. There's quite a few dangerous things. I would say, how can I really say this? Probably social media is very dangerous because of the way that it's used. We're kind of like in this space where a lot of things happen that are allowed to go on, and the people that are in charge of trying to do any kind of regulation don't understand what's happening. One of the main things is TikTok. That's why they're trying to ban it, because they pretty much do whatever they want on there, including human trafficking. That's how they're able to have all these migrants come in, because they're being told, okay, go here, do this, do that. That's not allowed on American apps. If that's found on American apps, the government can step in and get that out of there. But since it's allowed to go on, you get all this stuff that comes out, and then so many of us in America are hooked on these apps like a TikTok, and it's not in the government's hands. So if one day they want to just put some propaganda on there for the Chinese Communist Party, it's easy to spread it to people who don't really understand anything. And also, a lot of the technology, it's being used in place of education for young people. So they don't have education. They're not prepared to receive certain information. And then they go on TikTok and they get inundated with very advanced things that they're not ready for. And that creates a lot of problems. So there's quite a few things in society that I would say maybe as honorable mentions. Obviously, the southern border being wide open, no national security, the printing and spending the money. There's quite a few dangerous things that have adverse effects. But I think the main one for me would be social media right now, especially TikTok.
Okay. And then, the second part of that is, like, how do you think on a wide scale, like something like that can even start to be modified, rectified, without inhibiting people's, their privacy and their right to do whatever the heck they want? And it's all just such kind of a muddy little gray area, these dangerous parts of our world, And then we talk about these little things like whether or not this little old viejito should be sitting inside of a chair being given lemonade and sugar cookies instead of having to run a country and somebody else is speaking through his mouth. We're worried about that when sometimes we're just not looking at the bigger issues. And I think that's what I kind of wanted to say today, is that we all kind of look at that. But ultimately, like ABL, what are you worried about most? And when we ask ourselves those questions, I just think they're so important. And I thank you for giving me a voice today. And I thank you for answering.
Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
Have a glorious evening. Thank you for being here.
No problem. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
So shout out to the caller. Great call. And to answer the second part of her question, to answer that part about what would I do? I mean, there's certain laws in the books that exist already. There are certain things that exist. Human trafficking is illegal. Selling drugs, guns, all that kind of stuff is illegal. A lot of things we don't really enforce when you're talking about electronic. And also, the federales need to focus their energy on actual things that hurt us rather than trying to harass people, rather than trying to use in the political nature. If you go after the human traffickers, if you go after those who violate our country, do whatever they want to do, then you would not have all these problems. If you stop being a sanctuary city and a sanctuary state, then you wouldn't have all these migrants, quote unquote, coming to your city and doing whatever they want to do, sparking violence. If you supported the police and actually believed in locking people up when they do bad things, violent criminal things of this nature, if you're shooting people and you do that a lot, then maybe you shouldn't actually be out in the streets. If you are proven to be a killer, proven to be a shooter, maybe the streets aren't for you. That's all I'm saying. So those kind of things, that's kind of what I'm on. Okay, that's kind of what I'm on. All right, that'd be how I would try to fix the problem. But I think a lot of you guys may have a different opinion about what the biggest problem is, and that's fine. 859, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Yo, ABL, how's it going, man? It's your Luciferian Libertarian friend. I was going to ask you, I've noticed something about the whole political debate between Donald Trump and Biden. And they both lied, to my opinion, my personal opinion. And thank you for taking my call. I appreciate it. But they have a weird fascination of pointing out that Charlottesville, with the whole thing with January 6th, also the writers from BLM, that they act like these people control these people. Last time I checked, that these two candidates who are trying to run for office, they can't control what other people do. And them trying to point out, like, oh, with the whole Charlottesville thing, blaming Trump for it, Trump has no control over that. And actually, half of those people probably think Trump is like a secret Jew or something like that, which is weird. And then they also, in January 6th, he did say peacefully protest. He can't control what other people do. And same thing with Joe Biden, with the whole BLM rioters and stuff like that. And the Antifa guys. Half of those guys, if you put Joe Biden in there, they probably would torture the crap out of him. Sorry about the language. I do apologize with the whole cussing, but you get my point. I just don't get why they both do that.
So what did Trump lie about?
There's a lot of things. I think him blaming the whole riding on just what Biden said. That crowd in general are just crazy. I mean, you can't control people. You can't. And that's just the one thing I just don't get from both of them. Is like, you act like you can control them. No, they're acting sporadical as it is by itself. Yeah. Also, I mean, Mr. K from Men in Black, I will say, a person's smart. People are dumb.
Yeah, I mean, with the whole Charlottesville thing, I mean, that was nothing anyway. That was a nothing burger. I mean, there is a lot.
I just don't get why.
Say what now?
I just don't get why somebody would travel out in the middle of nowhere to another state, to another city that's not theirs to fight over something, in my opinion, is, and some people might disagree with me, a thing of marble.
Well, I mean,
it's not my decision.
Everybody,
to go down.
I'll answer your question. Everybody has different values. Some think that that's something that's worth fighting for, and some don't. Everybody has different points of view. Just like you got these weirdos out here talking about, okay, I'm gonna block the road because I think that we gotta try to fix climate change. I mean, that's a thing that doesn't make any sense to fight over. But people still do it. So people have different interests. At the end of the day, it doesn't even really matter why they went there because it was nothing. There was plenty of riots happening all over the country that actually, were pretty serious, but got ignored because it was not politically expedient for those who were covering it to cover it.
And I agree with you on that. I definitely. I mean, the reach of the liberal media and the hypocrisy, they always were only focused on like the Charlottesville and January 6th instead of the other several riots that were going on and violence and stuff like that. But like I said, I just don't think either candidate, whatever they said, was encouraging violence. They're just being both just pointing the finger of what other people do. And I think that's kind of silly. Especially with Joe Biden when he says, especially when he's mumbling anything he says, I think it's been coached like a child. He's gone. He's really gone.
Right, of course.
He's so gone, even like with my coherent self having I made a milkshake called a millennial, don't want to say the word, but starts with a B. It's a combination of psychedelic shrooms and also THC cannabis. But hey, you have a good one. Thank you very much for taking my phone call, ABL. You are fantastic. I like your content, even though I may agree or disagree. And I'm fantastic to hear from your calls, your story, the other callers, and I appreciate it. Have a good one. God bless.
Thank you for the call. Appreciate it. All right, shout out to my man for the call. Most certainly appreciate him. Let's keep on rocking and rolling here. Let's go to 949. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Julie.
Hey.
You have a good one.
Alrighty. I got a little bit of noise in the background.
Sergeant, I turned it off, sir.
Alrighty. What's going on?
Well, I was just calling because, like, I live in, like, Huntington Beach, and there's, like, murders here a lot. I mean, as of recently, and I was like, oh my goodness gracious. Like, I don't know what is happening.
So you said there's murders where you live a lot?
There was two murders the other day, downtown Huntington Beach.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, oh my goodness.
So do you live in an area that's kind of like prone to violence, or is this like a rare thing that would happen in your area?
It's rare. It's very rare. Yes. And I was like, oh my goodness gracious. And I didn't know, like, my boyfriend told me about it, and I was like, oh my goodness gracious.
Well, hey, so that's California, right? Huntington Beach?
Yeah. Yeah.
Unfortunately, you are in California, Southern California. It's just kind of part of the thing.
Yeah. I think it was a guy named Logan that made the murders. A boy named Logan, but remember I called you before and I said a bad word? Just kidding.
Oh, nah. I mean,
anyway.
Go ahead.
I'm not. I mean, okay, no, what I really want to talk about is, like, the border.
Okay. How about it?
I think that they should put, like, border patrol on the border.
That's an awful idea.
My mom's listening to me. I gotta go. I'm sorry. I don't know what I'm talking about.
All right.
I'm sorry. Bye.
Okie dokie. Let's not do no drugs. Hey, that's California for you right there. Let's put the drugs down. Whatever kind of drink you got, put it down. I'm playing. Shout out to you. 508, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL, this is Drew.
All right, man. What's going on?
So I want to talk about something a little different today. And I'll try to make it quick because I know there's a bunch of people that want to call and stuff. So I recently moved from Massachusetts to New Hampshire. And you're talking about, like, moving to different states and voting the same way as you did back in the day when you were in the old state. And I'm hoping that we can kind of keep New Hampshire at least as purple as it is in the sea of blue that surrounds us. But I lived in Massachusetts for a long time. For the last probably 15 to 20 years, every year when I get my tax return or whatever, money is, like, stolen from me. Usually it's like $1,000 a year, and it's a penalty for not having health insurance. So people talk about Obamacare. Obamacare was actually, like, built off of Romney Care. And Romney Care is, like, if you look up rhino in the dictionary, like, there's Mitt Romney's face right there. I lived with him as governor for longer than I care to remember. But he's the one that, like, created that whole system where we're gonna make sure that everybody has health care. We're gonna make sure that more people, and then they go out there and they're like, we made sure that more people have health care than ever before, and blah blah blah. And like, how did you do it? So you did it by forcing people to buy it. And if you don't buy it, then we're going to penalize you for it. And we're going to take your money. So, and instead of, like, taking your money and giving you health care for it, which would make sense, you know, like, okay, you're not getting health insurance or you're not buying it. So we're going to take your money and we're going to buy health insurance for you or something kind of thing. That would make a little bit of sense, but it's literally like we steal your money. We take your money away from you because you maybe can't afford health insurance, which was my case. I mean, I didn't have the money for it, you know, and for a while it was like the amount of money that they were taking from me was less than it would cost me to buy health insurance.
Wait, hold on, call it 1 second. Like, is this recent? I thought they repealed that whole thing about the requirement and penalty. Because I don't have. So, go ahead.
Massachusetts still has it. Massachusetts.
Oh, so like, it's a state penalty.
The state. Yep. So Obamacare has been repealed, but in the state of Massachusetts, they still have it, right? So
wow.
They still do this, and so I mean, the amount of money they've taken from me is like $15,000-$20,000, right? And I've never gotten anything for this, and they're like forcing you to buy a privately owned business or product, and then they're like, well, you can buy the government one or whatever, and then the government one still and then they're like, oh, you don't fit into the like financial area that like will give you this or whatever. So now I have issues. Like now I'm 43. I ended up with a hernia, so I need surgery, which is unfortunate, you know. And even if I had the health insurance, I also need like some dental work done. That even if I had that health insurance, even if I paid for that money, that health insurance wouldn't have covered the stuff that I need done, right? So like even if I spent all that money on the health insurance, it wouldn't cover me for the things that I need to take care of now. So like I want that money back. I literally want to take Massachusetts to court for this because it's ridiculous. You stole my money, and now I need that money. You stole my money because you said I'm not buying health insurance, taking care of myself or whatever. And now, like, I need that money to take care of myself.
Oh man, I got a question. I got a question. Can you move?
I moved to New Hampshire.
Okay, so you're done, Massachusetts.
I moved in November.
Okay, so that's over there. Now, if you don't pay it, is that going to be a penalty that follows you from state to state?
So now, like, if I'm from what I understand, if I live in Massachusetts, I will have to pay it. But if I live in New Hampshire and work in Massachusetts, which unfortunately I still have my job in Massachusetts, apparently because I don't live there, this is what I'm hearing. Because I'm still new here. I moved here in November. So like, from what I understand, if I don't live there, they can't penalize me, I think. I don't know. I'm going to find out when tax time comes around next year. But really, like, I want my money back from Massachusetts. Like, they literally stole my money.
I understand. But look, I got it. You probably, you're not getting it back. I've been robbed before too by the government. I had a tax return from paying, because I pay quarterly. So I already given them the money. I already paid. They owed me like $16,000. And I opted, unfortunately, for a direct deposit. Rather than the $16,000, they gave me $9,000. What am I going to do? What recourse do I have? All I could do is just move on.
That's the thing. I mean, well, that's not right. I mean,
it's not right, but it's not right. But listen. But it's not right. But what are you going to do?
Well, you know what? I want to fight it.
How?
But how do I do that? Like, well, I've contacted like constitutional attorneys. I mean, look, if the IRS ripped you off, you should have the recourse to be able to be like, hey, you ripped me off.
I should, but I don't.
$7,000. Like,
what am I going to do? Like, how am I going to? You can't even really. You can barely call the IRS. So,
well,
you know, all I had to do. Listen, all I had to do was just kind of learn from that experience, rather than getting a direct deposit. Let me get a check, and if the check is wrong by 1 red cent, I'm not going to cash it. I'm going to send it back till you get it right. I'm gonna play within the rules that I have. I can't fix the past. All I can do is go forward and not have that repeat itself in the future. But I understand where you're coming from. You want your money back, but you just got to keep going forward.
I want to know if there's any, like, if the Constitution still stands, which I thought it did, is there any recourse to be able to say, hey, the government did me wrong? I feel like the founding fathers, when they drafted the Constitution, would be like, that's not okay.
But look, ultimately,
what happened to you and what's happened to me.
Caller, like, I got limited time, so I got to get to some more calls. But ultimately,
I know, man. I appreciate you, man.
It's all good, man. But ultimately, if you got a lot of money to spend on a lawyer and things like this, maybe you'd be able to fight it. Just like my man down there in Texas, Michael Cargill, that fight Merrick Garland. Like, think about suing Merrick Garland. How much money that takes. You might be able to get some of these groups behind you that help people. Maybe, I'm not sure what groups do it, but do some research and see if there's any kind of advocacy groups, any kind of grassroots organization. That's what I'm saying. If they can't help you, then you're pretty much,
man. You
Yeah, that's all you can do, man. So I'm glad you're gone from Massachusetts. I'm glad you're in a better place.
New Hampshire.
Yeah,
Live free or die, brother.
That's right, man. Thank you for your call. I appreciate you.
Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, I feel it, man. I felt the same way when the IRS robbed me. But then I had to just think about it like, I have no leverage here. What am I going to do? What can happen now? All I had to do at that point, when that happened, is no longer get direct deposits because they're trying to play little games. Okay, you want to play like that? Well, let me get a paper check every time. No TurboTax. I don't want a direct deposit. I don't want you to put it in my account because you might shortchange me. When the check comes back, it better be the exact amount it's supposed to be. And if it's not that amount, then guess what? I'm not cashing the check. I refuse to do it. It's simple. All right. I don't even really care. All right. Shout out to the calls though. The number to call 434-658-1220. 504 online. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, this is Cody from New Orleans.
All righty, man. What's going on?
So to follow up on what your previous caller was talking about, the biggest threat to the American people is central banks. Trump and Biden is all the dog and pony show. They're just mudslinging at each other and to distract from central banks. Central banks is the biggest threat that we have. I think that we need a candidate who is ready to abolish central banks.
That's a very tall task.
It's a tall task. Andrew Jackson was for it, though. That was one of his big, campaign things. The reason, though, is because they take all of our power. They take all of our buying power. They print the dollar to nothing. The dollar becomes worthless. We're losing oil-backed currency. But the main reason is the way that who funds the government. The government is not funded by our tax dollars. The government is funded by the bond market. Who buys all the bonds? Feds buy all the bonds. It's paper. What do they buy it with? They print it. So if they can print unlimited amounts of money, what do they need our tax dollars for? The main reason that they need our tax dollars is because our tax dollars maintain the illusion that we have any input in what's going on. So I think that the most dangerous thing to us as Americans is central banks and giving that power that massive amount of power to so few men unelected.
All right. Well, thank you for your call, man. I appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. Shout out to the callers. What do you guys think? Is that going to be a possible thing to do to end central banking? I mean, hey, it's a sounds good to me. What he's saying sounds good, but is it possible? 215 you're online. I'm speaking to.
Oh, how you doing, ABL? How's it going?
It's all good, man. What's happening?
Hey, can you hear me?
I'm doing well. I mean, I hear you well.
Gotcha. So, ABL, I had a question real quick. Well, I wanted to say this. There's this, I've been seeing this one dude's face pop up on YouTube saying how Joe Biden is basically going to beat Donald Trump. He's completely confident in Joe Biden and basically saying how, Joe Biden's way better than Donald Trump, how he likes Joe Biden way better than Trump. But then, and one thing I've noticed, right, I'm going to just get right to it. One thing I've noticed, here's the thing about me. I don't do much research like you do, but it's like, I feel like I know Joe Biden is not a good candidate. And the reason why is that last debate we watched, he just completely stuttered. And I went in there and I was listening to the debate and I tried to be as unbiased as possible. I couldn't understand a word Joe Biden was saying. He was just completely just not even stuttering. He's just not well. He's not mentally well. He has dementia. And it pretty much like everybody said, it's elder abuse what the Democrats are doing to him. And with Donald Trump, I was paying attention to the 2020 debate. And I was watching the campaign from 2020 all the way up to the election day. I watched both rallies. I watched Trump's rally. I watched Biden's rally. And Joe Biden, honestly, every time that I heard the crowd cheer, there really wasn't much enthusiasm. You just didn't hear the enthusiasm.
Right, absolutely, because they know what they see. Even if they are Democrats and they want to vote for him, they know that he's not looking good on stage.
Yeah, because every time he would say something, like when a crowd cheers for Trump, right, you can hear the passion, you can hear the love, you can hear it. When they cheer for Biden, especially back in 2020, you just heard, like, they're saying yay, but they weren't passionate about it.
Right, absolutely. There's no love for the guy.
Go ahead.
There's no love for the guy, but go ahead.
Yeah, most of them people are they just want Trump out of office because they believe all the lies of the mainstream media. And I honestly, a lot of times I forget how corrupt the mainstream media and how much lies and stuff they spend, because it's like there's a lot of articles they might try to delete. They'll spin stories a certain way, use certain words. The article's are extremely manipulative. And a lot of people keep trying to say, well, you got to do research on this, do research on that, do research on that. I say, listen, I'm not just going to read some article that's extremely politically biased, because it's like you're not really getting accurate information, and then they're not going to tell the full story.
Absolutely, 100% correct.
And if you're not going to tell me the full story, then I'm sorry, I don't find you really credible. Like, I don't believe everything Fox News always says. I listen to them. They seem like they're a little bit more credible than CNN, but then Fox News, on top of that, they have political bias too. So I don't always listen to what they say. I hear what they say. Like, all information, I take it with a grain of salt, and just, like you said, come to your own conclusion and do your own research. But yeah, the political bias and the misinformation is just out here. It's out of control. I'm starting to see it everywhere.
Absolutely, I agree.
And one more thing before, I don't want to take up too much time. The last thing, did you hear something about them saying they said the Trump supporters said that they were going to, real men wear diapers or something like that. Did you hear anything about that?
I have no idea. So you said Trump supporters said this?
They said some Trump supporters and Donald Trump said that real men wear diapers. And they said the Trump supporters were wearing diapers. That's what this guy who hates Trump. That's what he told. Sorry about that. This guy who hates Trump so much, he told me that, and I didn't really believe it. And I wanted to look it up, but I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't true. And then on top of that, what Whoopi Goldberg said is like, no, she didn't make a good point by saying that we all walk and poop sometimes. No, we all don't walk and poop. I don't know what you got going on at your house. You should have kept that to yourself.
Really? That was crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks for taking my call. But yeah, she didn't make a good point by saying that.
Absolutely. She did not. Thank you for the call, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah, have a good one.
Same to you. Whoopi Goldberg, yeah, she was a mess. If you guys didn't hear earlier, I played the clip of Whoopi Goldberg talking about, yeah, if he poops in his pants, it doesn't really matter, all this, that, and the third. She was really just doing a lot. So, yeah, I don't know what that was all about with her. I don't know what that was all about. Let's keep on rocking and rolling here. Let's go to 253. You know, line, who am I speaking to?
Hey, my name's Jeff. Thanks a lot for taking my call, ABL.
No problem, man. What's going on?
You know, this is kind of brown nosy, so, forgive me, but I was thinking the other day, I just wanted to call and sincerely say thank you for what you do. You operate in this space with integrity, and there's a lot of folks out there with a lot of clickbait and a lot of kind of bait and switch, a lot of conservative YouTuber type folks, and it's obnoxious. And there's a couple of you that really just operate with integrity, and you're one of them. I want to say thanks.
Thank you, man. I'm glad you really recognize that, because I try to hang my hat on that about being fair, honest, and transparent. I don't want to just have a clickbait title, like you said, the bait and switch. I don't like seeing that kind of content, so I wouldn't give you guys that content for me. So I'm glad you recognize that.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. And I know you're probably stepping over, there's probably you could do some more growth or some faster growth sometimes by doing that, but you do you take the high road. So I just want to let you know we appreciate you.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you.
Thanks a lot. Keep up the good work.
All right, now take care.
Bye.
All right, shout out to the caller. Yeah, he's absolutely right. Like, you can, like, I know how to push the button and go viral. I've done it many times before, but when I go viral, it's with real stuff. It's not. I don't clickbait. A lot of guys that do the clickbait, it'll be a whole different video. The title will be one thing, video is something else. But by the time you realize it, you already watched the video. It's a cheap way. I don't do extreme things. So I got some advice from somebody. A well-meaning person gave me some advice about how to grow. And he was naming certain names. Oh, half this person know and half that person know. I'm like, nah. You see, you can get a quick spike by doing certain things on YouTube or social media in general, but there's no longevity in it. I'm going to always be me. I'll be here 20 years. I've been here since 2015. Okay, a lot of these guys, they come and go. They have a really hot spark, and then they die off, and you never see them again. They'll be here for a year and a half, and it's over. I've been here for a long time. I'm playing the long and at the short game. And the way to play the long game from, in my situation, this context is to be honest and lead with integrity and just be a skilled person. Be skilled at what you do. Have a good personality. I'm naturally like this. I've been the same way since I've been a little boy. They always told me, you're called to preach. You're going to be a speaker, all this, that, and the third. Even when I had my really bad stuttering problem, they still said that about me. So I'm just being me. All right. And that's pretty much what that is. But shout out to you guys. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. And before I was doing YouTube, I was self-employed doing my graphic design. I've been self-employed since 2006, 2007. So we coming up on 20 years being self-employed, and I intend to, keep on. So shout out to you guys. I really, really appreciate y'all for being here. All right. Yeah, Ojo, you were here, before the flags and the beer and everything. And I always try to just get better and better and better and better. Always try to improve. Always try to get better at what I do. That's going to be a constant thing in a variety of ways. I look like Grady. Well, that's nice. All right. Your mama says I look very handsome. So if your mama loves it, then it's fine. I could look like Grady. Your mama like Grady. Your mama was in Grady's bedroom. I'm playing. Let me stop. I'm just playing. Don't nobody get offended. I have 10 cars. Yeah, I got 10 cars. I got a car full of garages right outside. It's crazy. I got everything out there. I got the Maybach. I got the Mercedes-Benz truck. I got everything. I got the G-Wagon. All that good stuff. Ski Man, you've been here since 10,000 subs. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you. Laura Catherine says, I've consistently watched ABL since 2020. He is 100% real. Thank you. I appreciate y'all. Keep the beard. Yeah, I've been told. I got told I had a little bit of stubble one day in the picture. Oh, keep the beard. Grow it. I got it. Say less. Yeah, your mama jokes because that's how seriously I take trolls. It's nothing. I'll give you a mama joke because I don't take you seriously. Thank you, Laura. I appreciate you. Thank you, Carolyn, for recognizing the plaque. Hopefully we get another one soon. Whenever I get that, I'll let you guys know. 770, you're online. I'm speaking to.
Hi, this is Ted.
All right, man. What's going on?
Not much. I'm calling about, I guess, the show. I think if you're asking me what the biggest threat to America is today, I think it's something about China, man.
Okay, so what about China makes you think it's a big threat?
I think China, the manufacturing over there, I think that, working as an engineer in the state of Georgia, I like what Trump was doing, trying to bring the manufacturing back to America. I've seen it working on the front lines. I've seen, I guess, the projects that have been coming up. And I think that I would like to see more of that out of Trump, more than what I've seen out of Biden and how soft he is. You got Newsome out here opening up his front lawn to Xi Jinping. And I'm like, dude, what are we doing here, man? And so I think that that's why I'm voting for Trump. As a black conservative in the South, I think that Trump's got the best policies for us. And I wish more people could see that.
Oh, definitely. No doubt about it. And, hopefully more of us wake up and we see what's going on. It's going to be a slow process because you've been voting one way for a long time since, 1960s, 70s. It's going to be difficult. But I think a lot of guys, they're waking up. People hit me up every day in messages. On the street, people talk to me. So hopefully this is going to be a trend that continues as far as recognizing what policies are the best for us.
I think so. I'm seeing more guys like, I've seen more Black conservatives come out. I'm seeing, more people opening their eyes. I see things with, my family and such, and just the betrothedness or how much they're married to the Democratic Party. And I'm like, bro, there's just other ways to think. I'm not saying Trump is end all be all. He ain't Jesus Christ, but I'm just saying as far as what we have right now, it ain't working. Maybe there's different ways we could do things. As an engineer, maybe there's more efficient ways we could do things. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why I guess Trump's got my vote.
Right, absolutely.
Well, that's all I have to say, man. I got to run, but you have a good night. Appreciate the show. Been watching for years now, and you keep up the good work you're doing. And also, I was going to say about Boeing, as far as subversion tactics go, Boeing, as an engineer, I think the whole Boeing thing is a subversion tactic so that we don't trust our institutions anymore. I think Boeing has since been a fine institution until now, but just like universities, just like our government, just like all the other people we're supposed to trust in this country, they're making us not trust them anymore. And so I'm telling you guys, like, just think twice, ask a lot of questions, and, get your information from a myriad of sources. And that's all I got to say. You have a good night, ABL.
Thanks for the call, man. Definitely appreciate it. Peace. That's a good point about Boeing. Maybe, they just want to have us lack faith in institutions, and, that could be a thing. That's a really good point. Very good call. Shout out to him. 773, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
ABL, it's retired Chicago police officer friend. Thanks for taking my call. And this week, ABL, I'm going to sing your praises. I'm going to sing ABL's praises because, ABL, you always had integrity. And that's the one big thing that you have to look for in people that give their opinion in public. And that's integrity. And you have that, ABL. You have integrity. If you notice, I never try to promote anything, ride on your coattails. I never like when other people do it because you can see right through it. You've made your own success over the years, and I love to see that. You never put somebody's picture on one of your videos to get somebody to click on it because it's Trump or somebody else, and then there you are. We know that we're clicking on you, and we do it on purpose. So, anyway, there's my praises, ABL, and that's about it. I'll talk to you later.
Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
No problem.
All right. Shout out to my man, a retired Chicago police officer friend, and thank you guys for being here. As always, you guys are fantastic. You guys are the best audience anywhere on these interwebs. I'm going to read some of the comments, and then I wrap it on up, put the bow clean on top. Shout out to you guys for joining. All right, and then let me read. Carson says a grocery full of fridges. That's right. That's what we got. We got a car full of garages, a grocery full of fridges. We get all that good stuff. So shout out to you guys. I really, really appreciate y'all. I'm reading some of the comments here, and then I wrap it on up, put the bow clean on top. All right, let me see. Manufacturing. Fire Mission says, I miss when you, Tatum, and Jericho Green were on the show together. Yeah, those were good old days. We had, that podcast was really good. That podcast was very good. I don't think there's been anything quite like it since. I mean, there's some that try to do what we did, but Black conservatives on the podcast and just how we interacted, there's not really that going on a large scale anymore the way we had it. But, all those guys are so talented and everybody's busy. It's like, it's hard to come together for that. It's like making an all-star team. It's hard to have those guys play together for an extended period of time. But I might do another one. I might do a podcast similar to that, maybe. We'll see. Aside from what I do right now, which is, my favorite thing to do is a live show. Aside from this, I may do something else if I have time. Now, I got my other channel. I can't neglect the channel, Uncle ABL. I got some content planned for that coming up here pretty soon. And I'm going to do a lot more nutrition and food and stuff like that. The dating topics on Uncle ABL is kind of weird. Everything's the balloon pop and dumb stuff like that and hot tug. I don't want to talk about stuff like that. I rather would not. I rather would just wait till that stuff dies down. Okay. Get Candace on. Yeah, good luck with that. Getting Candace on is like getting the president on. Like, ain't nobody getting Candace Owens. You better be like Charlie Kirk, Brandon Tatum, somebody like that. Brandon is a business partner with Blexit, and of course Charlie is the head of Turning Point, and Blexit is owned by Turning Point, or at least powered by Turning Point. Unless you want to know business people or something like that, it ain't gonna happen. You know. Yeah, shout out to Candace though. Candace is a great person, but a mega star, a big star, and I like whatever she got going on. Shout out to her. All right, let me see. But I might not be able to get Tatum and Jericho. That's my thing, because they're busy. They got a lot going on. I got a lot going on too. So if I was to do another podcast, I'm not sure who it would be with. Maybe I might be able to get Jericho, and I got other guys in mind, but I don't want to name names. Yeah, Jericho. Shout out to my main man Jericho. Still doing this thing. Looking good. Shout out to Hodge Twins, my Virginia brother. Shout out to Brandon Tatum. Shout out to everybody. All those guys are good. I've not seen my man Derek Gradenigo in a minute, but I heard from a reliable source that he's doing well. But that was a while ago, so hopefully he's still doing well. All right. But yeah, every now and again, people still talk about that podcast that we had during the pandemic. That's like about 3 or 4 years ago now. But every now and again, people will talk about it, you know. But it's just hard to really keep that going consistently with all those big superstars on the show. Gaia says, ABL, I followed you before all those stars. You're way better. Thank you. I appreciate it. But shout out to them. Nothing against them. I don't want to make it seem like I'm trying to disrespect them. But I'm glad you appreciate me. I'm glad I'm your favorite. Thank you for that. All right. Old Joe says, if ABL could get Thomas Sowell, I would fly in for the live show. That'd be a good one. That'd be good. Thomas Sowell, but to get Thomas Sowell, you got to go through some hoops. I think even Larry Elder had a hard time getting Thomas Sowell. Like, that's a very tricky one. That's a very, very tricky interview to get. And he's up there in age. That's really hard. It's like layers of security. You can't really just get to a guy like that. That's like trying to get Morgan Freeman on the podcast. How are you going to get Morgan Freeman? How are you going to get Joe Rogan to come on your podcast? To go on Joe Rogan's podcast is difficult. How are you going to get him to come on yours? That's how hard it is to get Candace Owens. That's the level of stardom that she has. So yeah, shout out to her. All right, I got super chats on deck. Then I wrap it on up, put the bow on top. Shout out to you guys for being here. I'll be back live again on Saturday, of course. Same bat time, same bat place. 8 p.m. Eastern time to right around right now, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And shout out to everybody for watching, retweeting, super chat, whatever you're doing. I could not do the show without you. Thank you to the mods for keeping the trolls in check and keeping everybody in line. I appreciate you for that. I'll be back live again, as I said, on Saturday, 8 to 11. This is an audio streaming podcast. Also, it'll be available on your favorite audio streaming platforms, whether they be Google Play, Apple iTunes, Spotify, etc. Link for that will be in the description, or just go to your favorite audio streaming platform and search ABL Live. I should pop right on up. All right. We got super chats on deck. I'll read these right quick. Then wrap it on up, put the bow on top. They get a love live serve who says, ABL, do you go to the casino? Have you ever won big? What's your game of choice? You seem like you would be good at poker. I don't believe in gambling. I actually have gambling ads turned off on my AdSense. So you're not going to see gambling ads on my website or my YouTube. Yeah. Gambling and drugs, stuff like that. I don't like to promote stuff like that. So I've not been to a casino. I've been by casinos. I've seen casinos, but I've not been inside one. I went inside of a gas station that had some slots in there one time in Georgia. I think I was in Georgia. They had a gas station with slots, which was crazy. But I don't do with casinos. And you know what I had an incident actually with a casino. Sort of. I'm going to give you a quick story as I wrap up. So I'm in the hood. This is like, when was this? I had to have been maybe in my 20s. I had to have been, yeah. I don't think I was Yeah, I was in my 20s. I was probably like 25, 26, 27, that age. I'm in the hood getting a haircut in Virginia Beach. And if you know, I'm going to tell you where I was. I was on the corner of Military and Indian River. All right. So if you know, you know, by McDonald Park or whatever they want to call it. I'm out that way getting a haircut. And right next to the barbershop is this little casino that they built. Some kind of slot, like a really hood little gambling place. And there was a lady that was in there gambling, and she came out, and this is a graphic part. So if you're kind of squeamish, please be aware. So I'm sitting there getting my haircut, and I can look out from the chair and see the outside. It's a big window. I can see the outside. And it's this lady screaming, ah! She comes out of the casino area, and she's completely bleeding, like on her stomach. And I think she was bleeding from her area, like buckets. It was an older lady, probably like 55, 60, black lady. And I'm like, what is going on here? What is happening? And then that spot always had problems. There was always something going on at that spot until they shut it down. I'm like, yeah, that's like a gambling, it's a casino type. You're in the hood and people don't have any money. So what they're doing is trying to go to the casino to make more. And I see that on a larger scale of casinos. I mean, you can have fun at a casino, but personally, I don't like spending money for the purpose of trying to get it back. You know, I feel like I could do better things to make money rather than gambling. But I guess it could be fun. Maybe, I'm not saying I wouldn't go to a slot machine. I've done that in the arcade. Yeah, Dave & Buster's, a baby casino. You play the little game where you can move the little handle down and get the little rectangular thing. And if you can get it, you can get some tickets. If you miss it, you just lose your money. That's about as far as I go with gambling. To be in the casino, I'm good. Yeah, I saw the casino out Portsmouth, but I mean, shout out to them for having the casino. I mean, it's good and bad, I suppose, because you got people that travel to Portsmouth from the west and also some of the east through the downtown, midtown tunnel, maybe through the high rise, go through Cavalier Manor, all of that. They might go to the casino. It's good for Portsmouth because they have no industry at all, and it's a bunch of poor black folks out there struggling. But still, I'm just not really a fan of casinos in general. But hey, that's just me. I might be kind of a square. I like different things. So yeah, shout out to you guys if you like it though. But anyway, also thank you to Laura Catherine for the #1 fan emoji. I really, really appreciate you for that one. But that's pretty much it for me. I will see you guys again on Saturday, of course. And of course, I'm here doing pre-recorded content all throughout the week. But until next time, y'all be safe. I'm out, and peace.